Au travail de la Commission africaine et membre du groupe de travail sur les droits des personnes âgées et des personnes handicapées. La deuxième partie traite de la situation de la peine de mort des exécutions extrajudiciaires en Afrique. Et la troisième partie présente la conclusion et avec un ensemble de recommandations. Concernant la première partie, en ce qui concerne les activités entreprises en ma qualité de commissaire, nous avons participé à la 26e session extraordinaire de la Commission du 16 au 30 juillet 2019 à Banjul en Gambie. Et la session a traité essentiellement des communications et nous avons adopté 18 communications. Dans cette intercession, j'ai également adressé différentes correspondances aux États dont je suis en charge pour demander les missions de promotion. Une demande de mission de promotion a été faite à la République du Bénin et la demande d'autorisation attend toujours de la République du Bénin la communication officielle des dates mutuellement convenables. En ce qui concerne la mission de promotion demandée à la République du Tchad, une réponse positive de la part de l'État a été reçue à la Commission et nous comptons refixer les dates de la dite mission. Une demande de mission de promotion a été faite à la République du Sénégal et nous attendons toujours une réponse de la part du gouvernement. Une demande aussi a été adressée à la République algérienne démocratique et populaire depuis l'année passée. Et la Commission a rencontré pendant cette période d'intercession la délégation algérienne et en marge de la 64e session ordinaire tenue à Sharm el-Sheikh en Égypte, et attend toujours la décision concernant les nouvelles dates de la mission de promotion en Algérie, qui était initialement prévue entre le 10 janvier et la fin du mois de février 2018, telle que proposée par le gouvernement algérien dans sa note verbale du 20 juillet 2018. L'autre activité réalisée a été la participation à la conférence régionale sur l'examen périodique universel tenue du 11 au 13 juin 2019 à Kigali au Rwanda. Cette conférence organisée par le Forum d'aide judiciaire en collaboration avec les Nations Unies Rwanda a porté sur le thème Strengthening Human Rights Protection within East Africa Community Region through Universal Periodic Review Mechanism. Et au cours de cette conférence, nous avons représenté la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples et fait une présentation sur le rôle de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples au processus de l'évaluation périodique universelle. Étant donné que les questions des droits de l'homme des États africains traitées au niveau des organes des traités des Nations Unies sont presque similaires à ceux qui préoccupent la Commission africaine, son rôle consiste essentiellement à revenir sur les recommandations des mécanismes internationaux et de l'évaluation périodique universelle lors des missions de promotion qu'elle entreprend dans les États partis à la Charte africaine, au cours du dialogue de la Commission avec les États lors de la présentation des rapports d'État et à travers les observations conclusives et recommandations qu'elle fait à cet effet. S'agissant des activités entreprises à ma qualité de présidente du groupe de travail sur la peine de mort, les exécutions extrajudiciaires sommaires ou arbitraires et les disparitions forcées en Afrique, Et nous avons publié un communiqué de presse sur la 17e journée mondiale contre la peine de mort sur le thème « Les enfants victimes invisibles ». Et nous avons exhorté les États parties et les autres parties prenantes à protéger les droits de ces enfants, tels que prévus par le droit international. Nous avons également participé à un événement parallèle au Conseil des droits de l'homme à l'occasion du 30e anniversaire du second protocole au Pacte international sur les droits civils et politiques relatif à l'abolition de la peine de mort. L'événement a eu lieu le 2 juillet 2019 à Genève, en Suisse. Et il était organisé par la Commission internationale contre la peine de mort, dont je suis membre. Il avait pour objectif de faire un regard en arrière pour réfléchir sur l'impact de cet instrument à l'avancement de l'agenda des droits de l'homme sur le plan international et régional, eu égard à la question de la peine de mort, de voir si le second protocole au Pacte international sur les droits civils et politiques a atteint son objectif d'abolir la peine de mort durant les 30 ans de son existence et quels sont les facteurs ayant influencé l'accélération, le refus ou le retard de cette ratification. À cette occasion, nous avons fait une présentation sur la peine de mort et le second protocole à la Convention internationale sur les droits civils et politiques relative à l'abolition de la peine de mort. Un aperçu sur la situation de la question de la peine de mort en Afrique a été fait, ainsi que l'échange sur le travail du groupe de travail sur la peine de mort en Afrique et son impact sur l'accélération de la ratification du second protocole, dont la récente résolution de la Commission sur l'abolition de la peine de mort en Afrique du 14 mai 2019, qui appelle les États à observer le moratoire et à ratifier le second protocole au Pacte international sur les droits civils et politiques. Au cours de cette mission à Genève, nous avons également participé à l'Assemblée générale de la Commission internationale contre la peine de mort, au cours de laquelle un exposé sur la situation de la peine de mort en Afrique et les actions du groupe de travail pour l'abolition de la peine de mort ont été partagés avec les membres de la dite commission présente. L'autre activité a été la participation au panel sur les exécutions extrajudiciaires qui a eu lieu pendant cette session et nous l'avons modéré. Et il avait pour objectif de discuter avec les délégués sur les questions des exécutions extrajudiciaires en Afrique et d'attirer l'attention des États sur ce problématique qui constitue une violation du droit à la vie. On prit part à ce panel Madame Samia Bourouba, membre du groupe de travail, qui a fait un exposé sur les exécutions extrajudiciaires en tant que violation des droits de l'homme en vertu de la Charte africaine et la contribution de la Commission dans la lutte contre ce problème. Également a participé à ce panel M. Kevin Mwangi de Independent Medical Legal Unit qui a fait l'exposé sur l'état des lieux des exécutions extrajudiciaires en Afrique, leurs causes sous-jacentes et les conséquences, ainsi que l'importance de la documentation afin de garantir une réparation adéquate à l'égard des survivants. À l'issue de ces présentations, M. Nicolas Perron, directeur des programmes de la Coalition mondiale contre la peine de mort, a fait une présentation sur les actes du 7e Congrès mondial sur la peine de mort. Nous avons eu l'opportunité de sensibiliser les États au soutien du projet de protocole sur l'abolition de la peine de mort en Afrique. Nous avons en outre participé au panel sur les disparitions forcées qui a aussi eu lieu pendant cette session. Et le panel avait pour objectif de mener une discussion sur la question des disparitions forcées qui persistent dans beaucoup d'États africains et d'échanger sur les mesures à prendre pour prévenir et éradiquer ce genre de violations des droits de l'homme. Nous avons mené aussi des activités en qualité de membres du groupe de travail sur les droits des personnes âgées et des personnes handicapées. Et à cet égard, nous avons participé au séminaire de sensibilisation aux États membres de l'Union africaine à la ratification du protocole relatif aux droits des personnes âgées et le protocole sur les droits des personnes handicapées en Afrique, qui a eu lieu à Kigali, et le commissaire président de ce groupe de travail a déjà indiqué comment a été organisé ce séminaire, cette activité, ainsi que les conclusions. Nous avons participé à un autre panel de discussion sur la ratification du protocole relatif aux droits des personnes âgées et du protocole relatif aux droits des personnes handicapées. C'est une activité qui a eu lieu aussi au cours de cette session et les autres commissaires ont rapporté sur cette activité, dont le président du groupe de travail sur les droits des personnes âgées et des personnes handicapées. L'autre activité menée est celle que j'ai menée en ma qualité de présidente du groupe de travail sur les questions spécifiques relatives au travail de la Commission africaine. Et pendant cette intercession, nous avons fait le suivi de la préparation du séminaire régional de sensibilisation des populations africaines au travail de la Commission et ses mécanismes qui doivent se tenir prochainement. La deuxième partie de ce rapport porte sur la situation de la peine de mort et des exécutions extrajudiciaires sommaires ou arbitraires en Afrique. S'agissant de la peine de mort, le groupe de travail prend note avec satisfaction des développements positifs intervenus en Afrique concernant l'abolition de la peine de mort. Au mois d'octobre 2019, 44 États parties ont aboli la peine de mort en droit ou en pratique. 21 ont aboli la peine de mort en pratique en promulguant les lois nationales à cet effet, dont 11 ont également ratifié le deuxième protocole facultatif se rapportant au pacte international relatif aux droits civils et politiques visant à abolir la peine de mort, et 23 États n'ont pas procédé à une exécution depuis 10 ans. Et le groupe de travail prend également note de certains autres développements positifs intervenus sur l'ensemble du continent, notamment la non-imposition de la peine capitale et la non-exécution de prisonniers au cours de la période considérée. Parallèlement, le groupe de travail suit également de près les processus d'amendement de la Constitution et de révision de la Constitution visant à abolir la peine de mort, respectivement au Burkina Faso et en Gambie, et se déclare prêt à fournir tout l'appui technique nécessaire à cet égard. Et le groupe de travail a suivi aussi la situation des meurtres commis en privé et est préoccupé par les récentes attaques xénophobes dans certaines régions d'Afrique du Sud qui ont causé la mort d'au moins 12 personnes et la blessure ou le déplacement de nombreuses autres personnes. Le groupe de travail note également que de telles attaques sont devenues un phénomène persistant en Afrique du Sud au cours de ces dernières années, notamment en 2008 et en 2015. Malgré la condamnation publique par son Excellence le Président de la République de l'Afrique du Sud, des récentes attaques perpétrées, aucune personne n'a été encore traduite en justice pour les attaques xénophobes passées et celles qui ont eu lieu cette année. Le groupe de travail appelle le gouvernement sud-africain à mener des enquêtes indépendantes et opportunes sur ces attaques en établissant la responsabilité pleine et entière de tout individu responsable, mais également à mettre en œuvre un plan d'action national de lutte contre la discrimination raciale, la xénophobie et l'intolérance qui y est associée. Cela contribuera à lutter contre l'impunité, mais aussi à trouver une solution globale et durable à ce phénomène déplorable. La troisième partie de ce rapport porte sur les conclusions et recommandations. Compte tenu de l'évolution positive de la situation de la peine de mort sur le continent, notamment la non-imposition de la peine capitale et la non-exécution de prisonniers au cours de la période considérée, le groupe de travail continuera de travailler avec ses partenaires et les parties prenantes pour poursuivre le plaidoyer en vue de sensibiliser davantage l'opinion publique et d'influencer les attitudes des États parties sur la question de la peine de mort, des exécutions extrajudiciaires et des disparitions forcées en Afrique. Et nonobstant les acquis réalisés, le groupe de travail est également conscient de nombreux défis à relever, eu égard à la protection du droit à la vie en Afrique. À la lumière de l'analyse susmentionnée sur la situation de la peine de mort, des exécutions extrajudiciaires et des disparitions forcées en Afrique, le groupe de travail voudrait, par la présente, faire quelques recommandations. Aux États, nous exhortons la République du Mali et la République d'Afrique du Sud à prendre des mesures concrètes pour trouver une solution durable aux causes sous-jacentes des attaques aux personnes innocentes dans leurs États respectifs. Appelle également la communauté internationale à contribuer à apporter son appui à ces États dans la lutte contre la violence liée aux conflits communautaires et à la xénophobie et l'intolérance respectivement. Demande aux États partis à la Charte africaine qui applique encore la peine de mort, d'observer un moratoire sur l'application de cette peine, de suspendre l'exécution des condamnés à mort et de commuer leur peine en réclusion à perpétuité. Exhorte les États partis à la Charte africaine à collaborer efficacement avec la Commission en vue de sensibiliser l'opinion publique et de lutter contre le problème des exécutions extrajudiciaires et des disparitions forcées en Afrique. Exhorte les États partis à continuer à collaborer au niveau national, régional et international pour lutter contre la résurgence du terrorisme dans certains pays africains, en particulier en Afrique de l'Ouest, du centre et du nord, conformément aux normes, règles et meilleures pratiques régionales et internationales. Et demande aux États partis à la Charte africaine.
Non-governmental organization, internationallawyers.org. Are you here? You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Internationallawyers.org commends Angola for ratifying the second optional protocol to ICCPR and urges all African states who have not yet joined the second protocol to follow Angola's example and do so as soon as possible. We believe that Africa can become the leader of the global movement to abolish the death penalty, a cruel doesn't deter crime and only incites hatred from children of those on death row against the governments who discriminatorily apply it. We call on the retentionist states to consider the psychological trauma for children losing a parent to death row. Over the past 6 years, we have seen an unprecedented level of incidents of arbitrary deprivation of life in Egypt following undue process. Prisoners have died in custody after intentional failure to provide them with medical care. This year, Egypt executed 23 individuals in political cases. Amongst those executed, one who have claimed to the judge, told to the judge, we have been electrocuted so much we could power Egypt for 20 years. These cases reflect a pattern of systematic violations, including enforced disappearance and torture to extract false confessions. Today, there are 58 individuals at risk of arbitrarily losing their lives and over 1,000 sentenced to death in mass trials in Egypt. We urge the Commission to press Egypt to immediately review these sentences and order a retrial. We remind states of seminal principle of state responsibility that their domestic laws can never be a justification for violation of international legal obligation, including implementation of provisional measures. Prisoners die in custody in Egypt at an alarming rate. Over 800 cases of death in custody since 2013. In most cases, the death was due to deprivation of urgent medical care and refusal of authority to improve the inhumane and squalid detention conditions which exacerbated illnesses. This happened with impunity. The lack of any investigation by judiciary and absence of accountability encouraged more disregard to the right to life of vulnerable prisoners who are under the control of the authorities. We therefore urge Egypt to ensure fair trials and to punish those who have violated human rights, particularly when it has led to arbitrary killing of a person, whether they played a role as a lawyer, prison official, judge, or even a diplomat. We urge Egypt to conduct independent investigation into alleged incidents of arbitrary deprivation of life and bring those responsible to justice. We urge Egypt to order a retrial into all mass trials resulting in death penalties and to allow independent NGOs to examine their prisons and investigate deaths in custody. Finally, we ask the Commission to immediately undertake a country visit with access to all prisons. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kayitesi.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voudrais remercier l'organisation pour ces informations sur la situation de la peine de mort, des exécutions extrajudiciaires en Égypte. Et nous allons suivre de près toutes ces situations.
Thank you very much again, Commissioner Kayitesi. Commissioner Aswagbo.
Thank you, Chair. My report is presented in 5 parts. Part 1 covers my activities as Commissioner. Part 2 as Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women in Africa. Part 3 includes information on press statements published during the reporting period. Part 4, my activities as a member of the Committee on the Rights of Persons Living with HIV. And Part 5 of the report highlights conclusions and recommendations. As Commissioner, I participated in the 26th Ordinary Session of the Commission, which took place from the 16th to 30th July 2019 in Banjul, the Gambia. From the 17th to 18th October 2019, I attended the 12th meeting of the Bureau and the 8th Annual Joint Meeting of the Commission and the African Court on Human and People's Rights, which took place in Banjul, the Gambia. Activities as Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women in Africa. On the 24th May 2019, I was invited by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women to participate in the 6th meeting of the Platform of International and Regional Mechanisms on Violence Against Women and Women's Rights, which took place in Strasbourg, France. On the 25th May 2019, I participated in a conference on women's rights at the Crossroads, strengthening international cooperation to close the gap between legal frameworks and their implementation, which took place in Strasbourg in France. No, I don't think I'm going to have extra pay for that.
Okay.
So we're at the crossroads, strengthening international cooperation to close the gap between legal frameworks and their implementation, which took place in Strasbourg in France. The conference was organized by the Council of Europe in collaboration with the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, its causes and consequences, and under the auspices of the French presidency of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe. On the 17th of June 2019, I was invited by the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt to attend an informal consultative meeting on women empowerment within the Islamic context in Cairo, Egypt. The meeting was organized to discuss pathways to empowerment of women, amongst which is women's economic, political, and social empowerment, as well as protection from all forms of violence. During the conference, I gave a presentation on women's role in combating extremism and highlighted women's role in violent extremism and radicalization as victims, perpetrators, and agents of peace. On 19th to 20th June 2019, I was invited by the African Union Commission in collaboration with the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt to participate in a regional high-level conference on ending child marriage and FGM in Cairo, Egypt. I delivered the opening remarks in which I highlighted measures undertaken by the African Commission to address child marriage and FGM. On the 9th to 11th of July 2019, I was invited by the Office of the United Nations High Commission for the Rights of High Commissioner for Human Rights in Uganda, the steering committee of the National Network for Women Human Rights Defenders in Uganda, with the support of the embassies of Norway and Sweden, to participate at a workshop for women human rights defenders on engaging with international and regional human rights mechanisms in Entebbe, Uganda. The objective of the workshop was to provide an opportunity for women human rights defenders to interact and gain knowledge on advocacy with international and regional human rights mechanisms. During the workshop, I delivered the welcoming remarks and also made 3 presentations on the overview of African human rights and human and people's rights mechanisms, tips on engagement and advocacy with the African Union human rights mechanisms, with special focus on special mechanisms, and feedback on the situation of the rights of women in Uganda. On the 17th September 2019, during the visit of the chairperson of the African Commission, Honorable Soyata Maiga, to sign the MOU with the Office of the Commissioner for Human Rights, High Commissioner for Human Rights, I participated in a coffee briefing organized, which permitted the chairperson to brief the participants on the mandate of the African Commission and its special mechanisms. I briefed the participants on the mechanism of the Special Rapporteur on the rights of women in Africa. I also held a meeting with the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, Causes and Consequences, Dubravka Simonik, in the course of which we discussed the holding of the next meeting of the Platform of International and Regional Mechanisms on Violence Against Women in Africa. Meetings preceding the 65th Ordinary Session. From the 17th to the 19th of October 2019, I participated in the Forum on the Participation of NGOs in the 65th Ordinary Session of the Commission and the 39th African Human Rights Book Fair, which took place in Banjul, the Gambia. On the 19th of October, I was invited to participate in the African National Human Rights Exchange Forum on implementation of decisions of regional human rights bodies in Banjul, the Gambia, organized by the Network of National Human Rights Institutions. I made a presentation on the challenge of the slow pace of implementation of decisions of regional human rights bodies and the need for collaboration with actors at the national level. I also moderated 2 panels on experiences and lessons learned in the implementation and follow-up of decisions, and lessons learned and way forward on the follow-up to the implementation of decisions of regional human rights bodies. On the 19th of October 2019, I attended a side event on the security of human rights defenders in West Africa in a context of terrorism or unsafe environment in Banjul, the Gambia, organized by the West African Human Rights Defenders Network. I made a presentation on the role of human rights defenders, the challenges faced by them, and the protection afforded them by regional and international instruments. On the 20th of October 2019, I participated in a side event on advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights in Africa, the role of national human rights institutions in eliminating sexual harassment. The event was organized by the Coalition for the Advancement of Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights in Southern and Eastern Africa, comprising the Dula Omar Institute, Kenya Legal and Ethical Issues Network on HIV and AIDS, and the Initiative for Strategic Litigation. I delivered the keynote address at the workshop. On the 26th of October 2019, I participated in a side event on access to sexual and reproductive health and services for women and girls in conflict settings, a call for action in line with the African Union theme, the Year of Refugee and Internally Displaced Persons towards durable solutions to forced displacement in Banjul, the Gambia. I made a presentation on government's obligation to ensure access to sexual and reproductive rights to women and girls in conflict settings in line with the Maputo Protocol. Press statements. On the 29th of May 2019 in Geneva, the Platform of Independent United Nations and Regional Experts Mechanisms on Violence Against Women, of which my mechanism is a member, issued a statement on violence and harassment against women and girls in the world of work, following ongoing negotiations of a new international labor organization instrument to address violence and harassment in the world of work. We express concern at the possibility of eroding already accepted international standards on women's rights, including harassment as a form of violence. On the 30th of May 2019 in Geneva, the same platform issued a statement where it voiced its concern over patterns across various jurisdictions of the world that ignore intimate partner violence against women in determining child custody cases. The platform expressed the view that the abusive relationship between parents predominantly affect women and have direct impact on the children's life, yet violence against women is rarely considered as relevant factor by national authorities in child custody decisions. On the 19th of June 2019, together with the country rapporteur on the human rights situation in the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Commissioner Solomon Ayele Derso, and the Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Access to Information, Honorable Commissioner Lawrence Muto, we issued a press release on the decision of the High Court of Kenya regarding the standards and guidelines for reducing morbidity and mortality from unsafe abortion in Kenya and the national training curriculum for the management of unintended, risky, and unplanned pregnancies. On the 4th of September 2019, together with the Commissioner Rapporteur of the Situation of Human Rights in the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Commissioner Derso, the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Human Rights Defenders, the focal point of reprisal in Africa, and Honorable Commissioner Maya, the Special Rapporteur on Refugees, Asylum Seekers, and Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, we issued a press release on xenophobic attacks in South Africa, the details of which have already been given by other commissioners. Activities as a member of the Committee on the Rights of Persons Living with HIV from the 4th to 5th October 2019 I participated in a national dialogue on the study, HIV, the law and human rights in the African human rights system, key challenges and opportunities for right-based responses to HIV, organized by the committee in Nairobi. On the 5th of October, I participated in a meeting of the committee organized to discuss and propose activities of the committee for the year 2020. Conclusions and recommendations. My conclusions and recommendations will focus on matters relating to my mandate as Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women in Africa. I want to highlight the progress which has been significant at the national and regional level towards advancing human rights of women and ensuring gender equality on the continent. The Maputo Protocol, as you are aware, is one of the most comprehensive and progressive women human rights instruments adopted in 2019. Unfortunately, as of now, 49 countries have signed the protocol, of which 42 have ratified. I would like to commend the Republic of Sao Tome and Principe for ratifying the protocol this April 2009. 6 countries have ratified with reservations on certain articles of the protocol on grounds that they are incompatible with their national laws, traditions, religions, and culture. Majority of the countries on the continent have given effect to the principles contained in the protocol through concrete and effective policies and programs on gender equality. Yet there continue to be significant gaps between the provisions of the protocol, its domestication at the national level, and women's enjoyment of their rights. To date, of the 41 countries that have ratified the protocol, only 14 have fully complied with their reporting obligation under Article 26 of the protocol, and I seize this opportunity to congratulate Zimbabwe that presented its report to us this morning. During the 64th ordinary session of the Commission, we made a pledge, Maputo Protocol 2020, for a continental partnership to ensure that all African states ratify the protocol by the year 2020 to achieve full ratification of the protocol. Since this pledge was made, only one state has ratified, that's Sao Tome. I therefore urge states that have not yet ratified the protocol to do so, and that states that have made reservations to lift these reservations. Honorable Chair, the significance of gender equality and women's empowerment is paramount in achieving full realization of women's fundamental human rights. States and other stakeholders play a very critical role in promotion and protection of women's rights on the continent. I would like to take this opportunity to remind those states of their obligations towards the full realization of women's rights and to encourage them to take a human right-based approach to confront the challenges of gender inequality and women's empowerment. All states, I want to take time to thank all the states that brought to our attention during this session measures which have been taken to advance the rights of women on the continent. I call for a renewed commitment and solidarity with women and girls and other marginalized groups who face perpetuating systems of inequality, oppression, and violence. More concerted efforts should also be deployed in the areas of education, training, and inclusion of women in all spheres of life, in particular political and decision-making process. I continue to commend the women's rights movements and all other stakeholders for their tireless advocacy on women's rights. I implore all of us to continue to sensitize and popularize the Maputo Protocol, as this will promote gender equality and advance the promotion and protection of the rights of women on the continent. In conclusion, I would like to announce that this marks the end of my mandate in the African Commission. I would like to seize this opportunity to thank the government of my country, Cameroon, for nominating and supporting my candidature, which has permitted me to contribute in a modest way in advancing women's rights agenda and human rights agenda in general on the continent. During my 9 years at the Commission, I have served in many capacities as Special Rapporteur on Human Rights Defenders, Chairperson of the Committee on the Protection of the Rights of People Living with HIV, Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women, Chairperson of the Working Group on Communication, member of the Working Group on Indigenous Populations, member of the Committee on the Prevention of Torture in Africa, member of the Committee on the Protection of the Rights of People Living with HIV, and member of the High-Level Committee to investigate harassment at the AU. Chairperson, my balance sheet in terms of missions, norm settings, guidelines, general comments was highlighted in Sharm el-Sheikh during the 64th ordinary session, and I will not be coming back to that. I must confess here that it was with great honor to me to serve the people of Africa. I had a particular hatred for geography, and as such, I had little or no knowledge of my continent until I became a member of this commission. And thanks to my passage here, I have visited a significant number of African countries. I wish to thank all my colleagues for the love, for the knowledge exchange, for the banter exchange. In particular, Commissioner Mute, with whom I've entertained special relationship and whom I'll miss so dearly. I'd like to thank all state parties, national human rights commissions, NGOs for their continued support. My sincere gratitude goes to the Secretary and the staff of the Commission, in particular, all the dedicated legal officers that assisted me throughout my mandate, Irene, Aminata, Biola, Eva, Albab. I would also like to thank the interpreters and translators who permitted me to communicate with others. Special thanks also go to the partners of the respective mandates I held and the legal assistance that they put at my disposal. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before I end, I would like to thank the chairperson for the kind words expressed towards me 2 days ago. I've had to make a lot of friends during my passage here, but since to err is human, I'd like to tender my apologies for whoever I may have hurt or offended, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, by my actions during my passage at the Commission. Life is made up of meetings and partings. While there is always joy to meet, it is always difficult to say goodbye. In fact, the two hardest things to say in life are hello for the first time and goodbye for the last time. It is therefore with a very heavy heart that I say goodbye to you all and pledge to remain an ambassador of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. I thank you very much.
Commissioner Aswagbo, thank you very much for that very eloquent statement on the work that you have accomplished over the years and also how you feel about this moment. You said it's difficult to say goodbye, and we agree with you. And therefore, I don't think that it would be goodbye that we in the Commission would say to you. That it's rather that, just as we said with Commissioner Maiga, Commissioner Yoon, we would say, you'll stay with us, you'll be with us. So we will call on you and make use of your rich experience and expertise and your additional knowledge of geography in Africa. Thank you very much again. I would like now to ask if there are member states who would like to speak to Commissioner Aswagbo's report. Do they want to speak? Yeah. Okay, Vice Chair, you have the floor.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. J'aurais aimé que la commissaire Aswagbo me suive très bien et qu'elle ne soit pas dérangée. Je sais qu'avec ce discours, Nous devons d'abord reconnaître que le Cameroun vient de servir au sein de cette commission pendant plus de 12 ans. Je crois qu'honnêtement, toute l'Afrique doit une fière chandelle. Toute l'Afrique doit une fière chandelle au peuple camerounais ainsi qu'aux dirigeants camerounais, toutes tendances confondues, pour nous avoir prêté une de ses meilleures filles dans la cause de la promotion et de la protection des droits de l'homme en Afrique. Je voudrais également indiquer qu'avec votre mot de revoir, c'est aussi l'Afrique centrale entière qui se sent concernée par le départ, parce que je ne pense pas qu'en Afrique centrale nous ayons une ressource humaine aussi expérimentée que vous pour toute l'Afrique centrale en matière de promotion et de protection des droits de l'homme. Donc, non seulement le Cameroun devrait se sentir fier, mais dans le quota de l'Afrique centrale, je crois que nous devons aussi nous sentir fiers pour tout le travail que vous avez fait. Le temps ferait défaut, sinon je pourrais vous faire un très gros poème jusqu'à vous faire couler les larmes. Mais sinon, je devrais me réserver et juste indiquer pour conclure que mon souhait, en tant que ressortissant d'Afrique centrale aussi, c'est de voir que si jamais l'Afrique représentait quelqu'un pour vous remplacer, au moins que ce soit quelqu'un qui sera un homme ou une femme, je n'en sais rien, qui sera aussi dévoué à la cause de la promotion et de la protection des droits de l'homme en Afrique. Ne vous en faites pas, la Gambie est d'accord avec ce que j'ai dit, c'est juste le caprice de l'électricité. Non, je voudrais juste conclure en disant que c'est avec vraiment beaucoup de respect, beaucoup de reconnaissance que nous voulons vous dire merci au nom de votre propre pays, le Cameroun, de l'Afrique centrale qui avait présenté votre candidature à 2 reprises et de toute l'Afrique qui a accepté cette candidature à ces 2 reprises, au cours de ces 2 reprises, au cours de ces 2 occasions. Je pense que aussi bien ce que j'ai dit pour vous-même que pour les autres commissaires, s'il y avait la possibilité pour les gens de se représenter, j'aurais dû être le premier à me battre pour que ce soit vous-même, la commissaire Maïga et les autres qui sont au départ puissiez encore rester pour continuer à servir l'Afrique. Mr. Chair, that is the few words I have to say for my sister, Commissioner Lucy Aswabo. Thank you very much for that.
Merci beaucoup, Commissioner Vice Chair. Yes, Commissioner Maïga.
La lumière est là.
Yes.
Je voulais qu'elle me regarde et qu'elle me voie. À la suite de ce qu'a dit le Vice Chair, je crois qu'il a eu les mots justes qu'il faut appuyer et confirmer. Je voudrais, pour ma part, faire juste 2 petits témoignages. Le premier, c'est que, en tant qu'ancienne rapporteure sur les droits de la femme en Afrique, j'ai eu à passer le flambeau à la commissaire Aswabo. Des fois, on pense avoir bien fait, et puis après, on est surpassé par quelqu'un d'autre. Je crois que sur la thématique des femmes, elle a eu à faire des progrès dans la ligne de ce que j'ai pu faire comme travail, mais elle a allé au-delà. Et c'est très important pour les droits des femmes, où il y a encore beaucoup d'inégalités entre les sexes. Et il y a aussi ce protocole de Maputo qui doit être valorisé, qui doit être mis en œuvre par les États avec des ressources humaines et des ressources budgétaires suffisantes. L'autre témoignage, c'est que, et je crois que cela n'est pas simplement à mon endroit, c'est à l'endroit des assistants, des commissaires. La commissaire a toujours été là pour prier pour nous, pour prier, pour nous accompagner pour ceux qui sont malades, ceux dont les enfants sont malades, ceux dont les parents sont malades, avec un mot gentil. Et je me souviendrai toujours de novembre 2017, où j'ai été gravement malade après mon élection. Elle a été tous les soirs à mes cheveux, en priant pour moi, en m'alimentant. Et je voudrais ici lui porter ce témoignage et la remercier. Merci.
Thank you, Commissioner Maiga. Again, another testimony that Commissioner Swagbo indeed embodies the values of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, not only in words but also in practice, in how she deals with all people that she interacts with, and we will always be grateful and strive to emulate from all that she had exemplified. Are there member states that would like, Commissioner King?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'm honored to say thank you to somebody I met who has been such a wonderful person to me. I have benefited a lot from her expertise, her knowledge, but above all, her friendship. We have been very good friends. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have met her. I learned a lot from her during our work together at the working group on communication, and I want to thank her a lot for all her hard work in this area. And I hope that as you leave, that working group would be effective as it is your wish. I want to thank you for your contribution to the development of norms and standards in this commission, particularly in the area of the rights of women and every other area. Your contribution has been exceptional, and I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank you for the times we shared together in terms of being a young judge. I've learned a lot from you being an older judge, and I want to thank you for that. I wish you well, and I have no doubt that you will continue to contribute to the development of human rights in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see a member state wishing to take the floor on Commissioner Swagbo's report. Any national human rights institution? National human rights institution? Can you check the
You for your point. Chairperson, South Africa has recently been engulfed by a dark cloud of gender-based violence, with many women and people from the LGBTIQA+ being severely injured, maimed and traumatized, while scores of others have been killed. Added to this scourge of gender-based violence has been a spate of recent violent attacks on foreign nationals, particularly our brothers from the African countries. The Commission for Gender Equality in South Africa condemns all these acts of violence unreservedly. We acknowledge that violence not only robs people of their dignity and humanity, but it also denies them their human rights as outlined in the country's constitution, national laws, and relevant global instruments. The Commission does note that during the recent spate of violent attacks on foreign nationals from Africa, in many instances there has been scant attention to the experiences and plight of women and children, even though it is a well-known factor that violence affects women and children differently from men. As the Commission, we are regretful of the damage to property and loss of life and livelihoods of South Africans and foreign nationals who were victims of the recent attacks or violent attacks in our country. Therefore, as the Commission, we take note and endorse the contents of the press statement as released by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights on xenophobic attacks in our country, drawing attention on the country's obligations under Article 3 and 4 of the Protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of women in Africa. We also align ourselves with the statement issued by the South African President, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, in the wake of the recent attacks on foreign nationals in our country. We know that as part of the country's response, the President dispatched a special envoy to a number of affected countries, including the African Union, to brief them and explain the measures currently being put in place to deal with the underlying causes of the violence. Chairperson, the reality is that we do have problems as South Africans, but xenophobia or Afrophobia is not one of them. It is a reality as well that we continue to live in harmony with our foreign nationals in our cities, townships, and rural areas. Therefore, we cannot be Afrophobic nor xenophobic. The Commission on Gender Equality in South Africa is strongly convinced that South Africa remains a country committed to the rule of law, underpinned by a constitution with a Bill of Rights that guarantees and respects the human rights of all people within our borders, irrespective of gender, sexual orientation, race, culture, religion, language, and nationality, amongst others. Chairperson, as the Commission on Gender Equality, we are also concerned with the level of gender-based violence within our country. However, we acknowledge that the President of the Republic has responded to this gender-based violence within the country by ensuring that there is implementation of the declaration of the Summit on Gender-Based Violence, which was held in November in 2018. The summit, amongst others...
Your time is up.
Thanks, Chairperson. The summit, amongst others, Chair, just this statement, agreed that a coordinating structure be set up which comprises of participants from government, who will be 49%, and 51% from the sector. I thank you.
Thank you, South Africa Gender Commission. We are happy that you have joined us for this session of the Commission. We now have three civil society organizations. The first one is Maos Lovers. Thank you.
Thank you. Muito obrigada, Sr. Presidente, por essa oportunidade de falar. Quero juntar a voz da delegação lusófona a todos aqueles que agradeceram a prestação da Comissária Maiga e do Comissário Mute, e de maneira particular também da Comissária Lucy, que durante os últimos anos levou a agenda dos direitos da mulher. Sua Excelência, Presidente da Comissão Africana, distintos comissários, senhores delegados, caros colegas, todos os presentes, os meus cumprimentos. Há um ano atrás, denunciei nesta mesma Assembleia o incumprimento do governo de Angola em relação aos compromissos assumidos com o protocolo de Maputo. Denunciei que o Estado se omite de proteger a menina do casamento precoce, de proteger a mulher do tratamento degradante, da perda dos bens, de terra, em caso de viuvez. De proteger os direitos de reprodução da mulher, providenciando meios e serviços para que ela possa decidir quando quer ser mãe, quantas vezes quer ser mãe e quantos filhos quer ter. Sempre com o mesmo argumento de que questões culturais impedem de uma ação efetiva nesta área. Denunciei a fraca atuação do Estado angolano no sentido de proteger a mulher da violência, de garantir a sua integridade física e ainda denunciei a perseguição que o Estado tem estado a levar a cabo contra as mulheres no mercado informal. Denunciei igualmente que as 11 casas de abrigo para as vítimas de violência que o Estado angolano diz ter não estão disponíveis para as vítimas. Excelências, todas essas situações continuam atuais em Angola. As ONGs se expõem a ouvir a Comissão denunciar as violações de direitos humanos.
Résumez-vous, s'il vous plaît, parce qu'on n'a pas beaucoup de temps, s'il vous plaît. Résumez-vous.
I'm on time. Assumimos que este risco, porque acreditamos que as evidências que trouxemos à Comissão são suficientes para que os comissários investiguem, elaborem recomendações e acompanhem o cumprimento dessas recomendações. Continuamos a denunciar as mesmas situações com a agravante de sermos intimidados logo após as nossas declarações, como aconteceu com a colega Nélida de Cabo Verde, depois de ter feito aqui a declaração sobre os países lusófonos. O mesmo por um representante do governo angolano. O mesmo tinha a prerrogativa de usar o direito de resposta, mas preferiu submetê-la a um exaustivo questionário. Entendemos que esta abordagem tem contornos intimidatórios e espero sinceramente que nem ela e nenhuma outra pessoa da sociedade civil venha a passar pelo mesmo. As ONGs trazem evidência das denúncias que fazem. Será que a Comissão tem recebido evidências do Estado angolano dos progressos que relata? Precisamos que este espaço seja verdadeiramente uma ponte para a manutenção dos direitos humanos em África. Essa ponte passa pela verificação das denúncias, proteção dos defensores e responsabilização dos Estados. Muito obrigada.
Merci beaucoup. Je donne maintenant la parole à International Institute for Child Protection. International Institute for Child Protection. Vous avez la parole, merci.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. The International Institute for Child Protection is happy because the Commission attaches so much attention. And also, it should also conform with the AU Convention on Prevention and Combating Corruption. That also emphasize condemnation and rejection of acts of corruption, related offenses, and impunity. We can also cite the same thing in the Maputo Protocol. Mr. Chairperson, to this end, we wish to call on the Commission and state delegates to understand human rights and corruption from the perspective of grassroots women. Chairman of the Commission, state delegates, members of the NGO fraternity, anti-corruption, gender equality, and human rights are mutually reinforcing and can advance gender equality and human rights. In the same manner, human rights and gender equality are effective means of fighting corruption. I thank you for this opportunity to address the Commission briefly on the impact of gender equality, related offenses, corruption, and impunity on grassroots women. Thank you.
Thank you. defend defenders.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and all these delegates. African defenders and as well the defenders of defenders welcomes this opportunity to address the Commission on key issues, specifically on issues affecting women and children in Africa in terms of protection. It is important to note that women are key players in the advancement of human rights and have in many cases been at the forefront in advocating for the change that we need in our respective countries. For example, Sudan might be one of such examples. But in many cases, we tend to forget the areas of armed conflict where women and children are hugely affected. In the armed conflict regions, we have so many cases where women's rights and children's rights are hugely affected. In this case, the case of northern Cameroon, the case of South Sudan, but as well the Central African Republic. So we would want the Commission to put focus in this armed conflict region to make sure that we're able to protect the rights of women, but as well the rights of children. I think if you look at the images that comes in these areas, I think we need really to put that focus. Given the impact of the ongoing crisis in these areas, you see that I think we are having a setback in terms of the fight against these injustices. In particular, the gender-based violence in Cameroon is also something that we need to pay attention of, including the other countries that I have mentioned. In 2018, Defenders conducted an extensive research that also shows challenges that marginalized human rights defenders face, and that include women. Particular emphasis is on the prone to sexual and gender-based violence for the women who are working in the conflict zone areas, for example, South Sudan. In the light of all these atrocities, all these challenges that women and as well children are facing, I would want governments, but as well the Commission, to ensure that violations against women human rights defenders are protected by state, but as well non-state actors. We would want also the national institutions to take part in the promotion and protection of women and girls. But also would want stakeholders, including the Commission, to ensure that the victims of sexual violence are attended to by qualified personnel and professional institutions. Thank you for your attention, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. That's all we have from the floor. Commissioner Aswagbo, you have the floor to conclude.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the floor. And I'll start by thanking all my colleagues for the kind words of encouragement. As regards the contributions which have been made by the South African Gender Commission, we are pleased to note that they endorsed the press statement which was issued by this commission following the xenophobic attacks on other Africans in South Africa, and also the acknowledgement of the measures taken by the President of South Africa to address this situation, and we hope that all these measures will yield fruits so that Africans should be free to live in every part of Africa, especially with the adoption of the free trade zone, I can call it, free movements of Africans in Africa. Otherwise, it will be really meaningless if we cannot realize that dream of the leaders of the continent. Regarding the statements by the three NGOs, I would have loved MAOs not to wait for another 1 year to come here to remind us of what was said last year, whereas these mechanisms could be contacted even in the intersession at any given time. All these violations could be brought to our attention so that we address them early enough, rather than waiting only for this medium to raise these issues. However, we take note of the plight of the women in Angola, and if we can have some written statements to that effect, we'll be able to address them. The whole idea of intimidation has been addressed in our resolutions, and I'm sure states are very conscious of their responsibility to avoid any forms of reprisals against people who engage with the African Commission, as this has been addressed in a resolution issued by this Commission. Regarding, I'm not very sure how much the other statement applies to my mechanism. Much of it is addressed to the Commission in general, so the Chair may have to address that. But we agree that there's a likelihood of some intersection between corruption and human rights in general, more particularly the rights of women. So it will be of interest for the Commission to pursue the fight against corruption as a means of enhancing the enjoyment of human rights by all. And somehow I have an enemy in this hall. I can't remember I would have been talking, but I can't remember the last. Thank you, Chair. The last issue was the plight of women in cases of conflict, which I actually addressed. In fact, we are very conscious of the fact that women bear the brunt of conflict due to all sorts of human rights violations that they are exposed to during conflict situations, and also the absence of basic reproductive health, sexual reproductive services, as has been highlighted. So it's something we are very conscious of, and we actually organize a workshop, a side events to address those issues, which also brought out some research which was conducted in Nigeria following the abduction of the Chibok girls. So it's something that concerns the mandate, and we'll continue to follow it up. And actually, you realize that we launched the study on human rights violations in conflict situation, and this study actually carries a substantial passage on the problems of women in conflict situation, and highlights some recommendations which should be implemented. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much again, Commissioner Swagbo. I understand that you also have the working group on communications.
Thank you, Chair. In line with Rule 72, 70, sorry, In line with Rule 97.2 of the Rules of Procedure of the African Commission, the Working Group on Communications was established during the 50th Ordinary Session held in Banjul, the Gambia, from the 24th October to the 5th of November 2011. According to its mandate, the Working Group is required, amongst other things, to report on the status of communications at all stages of the procedure, as well as status of implementation of its decisions on communications. The report is presented in 6 sections. Section 1 explains the legal framework for communications before this commission and provides a brief overview of communication procedure. Section 2 covers the status of communications before the commission. Section 3 deals with communications considered by the commission during the reporting period. Section 4 deals with implementation of decisions of the commission. Section 5 outlines challenges encountered by the commission in general and the working group in particular in realizing its mandate. And Section 6 provides recommendations. The legal framework of communications and the procedure, which is dealt with in Section 1, can be consulted on our website, and I will not repeat it here. Regarding the status of communications before the Commission, today the Commission has received 656 communications, out of which it has finalized 428, of which 141 are on the merits, and transferred 3 communications to the African Court. There are currently 243 communications pending before the Commission, 16 of which are new and at seizure stage, and 177 on admissibility and 48 on merits. Most of the communications brought before the Commission are submitted by individuals and NGOs, and up to date, the Commission has received only 4 interstate communications. The last one, which is that of Djibouti against Eritrea, recently declared admissible at the 25th Ordinary Session of the Commission in February 2019. Communications considered by the Commission during this reporting period. Between May and October 2019, the Commission considered 9 communications on seizure, of which it decided to be seized of 7, granting provisional measures in 2 of these communications, rejected 1, and deferred 1 other communication. Regarding communications on admissibility, the Commission considered 8 communications, of which it declared 4 admissible and 4 inadmissible, and deferred 13. Regarding communications on the merits, the Commission considered and deferred 2 communications. The Commission held an oral hearing on 1 communication, provided guidance on 4 communications, and granted withdrawal of 1 communication. Implementation of the decisions of the Commission. Pursuant to Rule 112 of its Rules of Procedure, the Commission received information during the period under review regarding partial implementation of its decisions in Communication 389/10 Mbiake Geneviève against Cameroon, adopted during its 56th Ordinary Session held from the 21st April to 7th May 2017. On the 8th of October 2019, the Republic of Cameroon informed the Commission that the state had decided on the release and allocation of the sum of 40 million francs to Mrs. Geneviève Mbiake Kamanga, the complainant, as a follow-up of the recommendations of the Commission. The above notwithstanding, the Commission continues to experience low level of compliance of its decisions, which impacts on the effectiveness of its protective mandate. To reiterate, by virtue of ratification, ratifying the African Charter, states commit to fulfilling in good faith the obligation derived from the Charter. The Commission recognizes challenges faced by states in implementing its recommendations, including challenges relating to financial and human resource capacity. However, the Commission continues to count on the goodwill of states to implement its decisions, and specifically makes an appeal for states to comply with its procedure under Rule 1112 by reporting on mid- and long-term measures it is taking or intends to take in implementing recommendations made by the Commission. This is more so because reporting does not have any cost implications and would assist the Commission in monitoring the status of implementation of its decisions. In the same vein, complainants should also endeavor to report to the Commission under the same guidelines to keep the Commission abreast with relevant developments at the national level. The Commission continues to work in collaboration with its partners towards establishing an effective implementation monitoring system. Other stakeholders are once again called upon to assist the Commission in this process. Challenges. The Commission continues to encounter challenges that impede its output on communications, including, inter alia, human resource constraints at the Secretariat of the Commission with general reference to the lack of legal officers vis-à-vis pending communications, and in particular, Arabic and Portuguese legal officers, as well as revisers and translators. Policy and technical capacity challenges for referral of cases to the African Court. Insufficient funds to ensure translation of parties, which causes inordinate delays in processing communications. Lack of focal persons at the level of states focusing on communications-related documents and processes from the Commission. Lack of an implementation database. Lack of an automated communication handling system with streamlining the processes of communications. Lack of diligent prosecution by complainants and non-respect of timelines provisions under the rules of procedure by the parties. Recommendations. The recruitment of more staff should be expedited, especially legal officers in Arabic and Portuguese, as well as revisers and more translators who work in these languages. The Commission should develop the case management system and also ensure that there is capacity to continuously update it. The Commission should establish a dedicated case referral litigation unit at its Secretariat as a prerequisite for the continuation of referral of cases to the Court. Funds permitting, the Commission should hold periodic seminars on its jurisprudence to better capacitate the Secretariat and the Commission, trainings on the communication procedure of the for state parties, national human rights institutions, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders to keep them abreast of the communication procedure and facilitate their use of the same. The Commission reiterates the request to state parties to avail its Secretariat of the most recent version of their national constitutions, civil and criminal procedure codes, and other key legislation in order to further enrich the collection of research materials at the Secretariat. As a follow-up on implementation, all stakeholders are requested to submit reports on the status of implementation of the decisions of the Commission. State parties are called upon to honor their commitments and obligations under the African Charter and demonstrate the requisite political will by implementing the Commission's decisions on communications and providing relevant reports on implementation to the Commission in line with Rule 1112 of its Rules of Procedure. State parties should constantly update their contact information with the Secretariat of the Commission and appoint focal points to deal with communications at the national level. Funds permitting, more seminars should be organized to follow up on conclusions of the regional seminars on implementation of the Commission's decisions. The Commission calls on all litigants to officially update their contact details with the Secretariat of the Commission. Conclusion: the working group on communication was established to strengthen the protective mandate of the Commission. This is only possible through the collaboration of all stakeholders concerned. The working group, therefore, continues to welcome different views and recommendations from stakeholders aimed at improving its mandate and, by extension, the mandate of the Commission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Swagbo. I see Commissioner Mute. Commissioner Mute, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to begin by appreciating the report by Commissioner Swagbo and thanking her for the work which she has done leading the working group on communications for many years. I wish to make 2 comments. I trust that our stakeholders have taken note that the Commission is reviewing its rules of procedure and that the draft rules of procedure have been put on the Commission's website, so there's a call for feedback. Also, all states parties to the African Charter have been communicated to by a note verbal with requests that they should provide the Commission with feedback on the rules. I'm not sure, perhaps Marie can confirm if the deadline is passed or if feedback is still welcome. But in any case, since we have not begun reviewing the feedback, I am sure any feedback, even at this point, would still be welcome. So we have the draft rules of procedure in, I believe, in French, in Portuguese, in Arabic, English, obviously, which are online and on which we are calling for feedback. So I think that's one point I would wish to make. And then finally, Chair, I think it's important to acknowledge the concern which stakeholders have raised, continue to raise, and actually have raised particularly in this session about the low rates of implementation, the low rate of finalization of communications filed before the Commission. Your concern also has been our concern, and I think the challenges which Commissioner Swagbo has listed are the ones which make it quite difficult for us to be as expeditious as we'd wish to. But clearly, something needs to be done even more. Something must be done. So I'm sure we've heard, this Commission has heard the concern which stakeholders are raising, and I think we will be trying to figure what else we could do in order to ensure that we have a higher rate of return in respect of finalizing merit and admissibility communications. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Mute. Both on the inputs that the Commission would like to receive, but also with respect to some of the issues that have been highlighted by Commissioner Swagbo in this report, linking it with issues that have been raised during the course of our engagement on item 4 of the proceedings of this session, of the 65th ordinary session. So part of it has to do with addressing the structural issues that Commissioner Swagbo in her report highlighted. The rest of it has to do with also incorporating reporting on at the level of individual members of the Commission, for example, on the countries for which they are responsible on the status of communications with respect to those countries that have been proposed by those who intervened earlier in the course of the week. So we have taken note of all those points that have been highlighted and will continue to be seized with these issues and strive to deliver. I don't think that is there any member state that would like to intervene on this report? We haven't received any registration from anyone. NHRIs? Egypt on this report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. And I would like to thank Commissioner Aswagbor for her two reports, actually, that or all the reports that she's presented today. And I think the words of compliments that we heard from other commissioners are also echoed by delegations attending in this session and who have been communicating with the commissioner for a few years now. So we wish her all the best, and we thank her for all the efforts that she's done during her membership of this commission. As for the last report, we think that it is very important that the commission has embarked on a process of reviewing its rules of procedure. There is, of course, there is a chance for member states and others to give their proposals on the draft that is online at the moment. But also, it is very important that this issue is discussed in more details in the retreat scheduled between the Commission and the PSC in Addis Ababa later in November. So I think this is an issue that is very important, that needs more face-to-face discussion in order to be able to understand what member states need to propose, and also to hear from the Commission their viewpoints on these proposals and other proposals. So my delegation would encourage the Commission to respond as early as possible to the dates being proposed by the AUC in order to keep things moving in the preparation for the retreat. Thank you very much. Given, of course, that this retreat has been mandated by the AU Summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Egypt, for that. I have just confirmed with the Secretariat in respect to the meeting with the PRC that on the dates, it was on the basis of a proposal from the Commission that the dates have been fixed for the meeting. I think there are discussions underway on the financing of the meeting. Any other member state that may wish to intervene? We don't have any. I don't see NHRIs. There is no registration either. So I go back to Commissioner Aswagbor.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start by thanking the delegates from Egypt for the best wishes extended to me for the future and also for the kind words of appreciation. And to thank Commissioner Mute for addressing the issue of the draft rules of procedure, which are now posted on our website for comments from all the stakeholders. Regarding the low rate of finalization of decisions, the challenges have been raised, and Commissioner Mute has promised, and I think we'll agree with him, that something has to be done, that something will be done in order to enhance our performance in this direction. So we hope that by the next reporting period, we'll come up with better statistics as far as finalization of decisions is concerned. But again, I will insist that the recommendations we have made and the challenges raised should be taken very seriously, because that's the only way we can dream of improving our output. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again, Commissioner Aswagbo. I now give the floor to Vice Chair for your activity report.
Monsieur le Président, merci beaucoup. Lentement mais sûrement, nous tendons vers la fin. Je voudrais donc présenter également mon rapport d'activité intercession en ma qualité de membre de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples, et de rapporteur spécial sur les défenseurs des droits de l'homme, point focal sur les représailles, mais également en ma qualité de membre des différents groupes de travail et d'autres structures de la Commission dont je suis un des membres. Ce rapport vous est donc soumis conformément aux articles 23, paragraphes 3 et 72 du règlement intérieur de la Commission. Il fait le point des activités entreprises depuis la 65e session ordinaire de la Commission que nous avions tenue du 24 au 14 mai 2019 à Sharm el-Sheikh. Il rend compte des activités menées durant la période considérée à notre qualité, à nos diverses qualités, comme j'avais eu à indiquer. Dans un premier temps, dans un premier segment de ce rapport, je vais vous faire part des activités menées en tant que membre de la Commission africaine. J'ai pu prendre part à la 26e session extraordinaire de la Commission africaine qui s'est tenue du 16 au 30 juillet 2019 à Banjul, en Gambie.
They have it in French. They don't leave that.
En attendant que Estelle puisse donner à la cabine les textes de mon rapport, dont certaines copies traînent d'ailleurs sur cette table, je vais donc le lire lentement pour vous permettre de devoir traduire adéquatement pour les participants anglophones, arabophones et lusophones. Je disais donc que j'ai pu participer à la 26e session extraordinaire de la Commission africaine qui s'est tenue du 16 au 30 juillet 2019, ici même à Banjul, en Gambie. Je n'irai pas dans le détail parce qu'un communiqué final a été produit à cet égard et est disponible sur le site. J'ai pu également participer à la mission de promotion des droits de l'homme du 13 au 17 août 2019 en île Maurice, ensemble avec la présidente Soyata Maïga ainsi que le commissaire Atem. Les détails par rapport à cette mission seront fournis comme d'habitude selon les règles de la commission. Et c'était en présence de deux de nos juristes du secrétariat, Estelle Kunku, ainsi que mademoiselle Albab Tesfaye Ayaleo. J'ai pu également, Monsieur le Président, assister à une visite d'échange et de travail de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples C'était la visite, en réalité, la visite la visite de travail de Madame la Présidente de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples au Royaume du Maroc. Ça, c'était du 20 au 24 septembre 2019. Je voudrais renvoyer l'auditoire au développement qu'a fait Madame la Présidente, parce que j'étais également membre de cette commission, mais quelques détails figurent également dans ce rapport. Je ne pourrais pas les lire en entier, compte tenu du temps qui nous reste et du souci de résumer toutes les idées pour pouvoir nous permettre de terminer à temps. J'ai pu également participer à la 12e réunion des bureaux et 8e réunion annuelle conjointe de la Commission et de la Cour africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples. 17-18 octobre 2019, ici même en janvier, à Banjul, en Gambie. Et je pense que les détails figurent dans tous les rapports que vous ont présenté les commissaires qui ont pu part à cette activité. Je ne voudrais pas revenir sur cela parce que vous avez déjà entendu cela. J'ai également pris part à la réunion de concertation sur la mise en place du forum des INDH qui s'est tenu ici même en Gambie le 20 octobre 2019. Donc en notre qualité de membre de la commission, en charge de la surveillance de la liberté des réunions et de manifestations, nous avons donc participé à une réunion organisée par le RINAD dans le but de solliciter l'avis des institutions nationales des droits de l'homme sur la mise en place d'un forum des INDH à l'instar du forum des ONG que nous connaissons tous, qui est convoqué souvent en prélude à nos sessions. Après débat et délibération au cours de cette réunion, cette question a été actée par les autres INDH et présente à cette rencontre, mais renvoyée à l'Assemblée générale du RINAD qui aura lieu prochainement au Caire, en Égypte. C'est au cours de cette réunion que les membres ont décidé de renvoyer cette question de la mise en place des forums des INDH. Avant de passer aux activités comme membre du groupe de travail sur les populations autochtones, rapidement, je fais une mise à jour orale de mon rapport par rapport aux demandes de missions de promotion des droits de l'homme dans les pays d'Afrique. La Commission attend toujours des États ci-après la communication officielle de dates concertées acceptées par les deux parties pour que dans une partie de l'Afrique pour laquelle j'ai la charge en tant que rapporteur pays de surveiller les droits de l'homme, pour que ces missions puissent avoir lieu. Nous attendons ces réponses depuis presque 2 ans maintenant et jusque-là nous n'avons encore pas abouti à quelque chose de consensuel. Il s'agit de pays ci-après pour lesquels nous attendons les réponses: le Cameroun, la Côte d'Ivoire, le Gabon, la Guinée et le Togo. Ceci dit, je passe rapidement maintenant aux activités menées en tant que membre du groupe de travail sur les populations, les communautés autochtones en Afrique. Monsieur le Président, j'ai pu prendre part au dialogue national sur l'impact des industries extractives sur les populations autochtones. Ça, c'était du 7 au 8 octobre 2019 à Nairobi, au Kenya. Madame la Présidente de ce groupe de travail ayant déjà eu à faire un rapport circonstancié sur la situation, j'invite les participants à devoir s'y référer parce que c'est là où ils auront beaucoup de détails. Dans le cadre de ce groupe, j'ai pu également assister à la réunion du groupe de travail sur les peuples autochtones ici même à Banjul du 19 au 20 octobre 2019. Comme pour la première réunion, je voudrais également vous inviter à devoir vous référer à ce qui avait été dit avant parce que c'est toujours les mêmes informations. Ceci dit, je voudrais passer aux activités menées en tant que rapporteur spécial sur les défenseurs des droits de l'homme en Afrique et point focal sur les représailles. Je commencerai d'abord par les activités de plaidoyer. J'ai pris part à la convention 2019 des African Defenders qui a eu lieu du 10 au 14 juin 2019 à Zanzibar en Tanzanie. Au cours du mois de juin plutôt, j'ai pris part à la convention 2019 des African Defenders organisée par Pan-African Human Rights Defenders à ma qualité de rapporteur spécial sur les défenseurs des droits de l'homme. L'activité a réuni les membres de la convention 2019 invités. Il y avait également les coalitions nationales des défenseurs des droits de l'homme, les réseaux sous-régionaux des défenseurs des droits de l'homme et quelques personnalités clés qui évoluent dans le domaine des droits de l'homme. La rencontre avait notamment pour objectif l'examen du plan d'action des African Defenders adopté en 2009, connu par les défenseurs des droits de l'homme sous le nom de CAPA, tout en soulignant les progrès accomplis, les leçons apprises et les difficultés enregistrées. Il avait également pour but d'identifier les opportunités et les stratégies de collaboration futures en vue du renforcement de la collaboration entre les défenseurs africains des droits de l'homme et les mécanismes spéciaux de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples. Cette activité s'était terminée avec une cérémonie des awards, parce que African Defenders a l'habitude, Pan-African Human Rights Defenders a l'habitude de primer les défenseurs des droits de l'homme qui se sont illustrés dans les 5 régions d'Afrique. Et Madame la Présidente, pour tout le travail qu'elle a accompli au sein de la Commission, avait réceptionné un prix en ma présence au cours de cette activité. J'ai pu également prendre part à l'atelier de renforcement des capacités des organisations de la société civile et des défenseurs des droits de l'homme sur le thème africain de l'homme et les techniques de plaidoyer à Rabat, au Royaume du Maroc, du 3 au 5 juillet 2019. C'était une activité de sensibilisation de tous les défenseurs des droits de l'homme de l'Afrique du Nord pour leur permettre de participer efficacement aux travaux de la Commission, ensemble avec le commissaire Hatem, avec qui nous avons animé cette activité, et je crois que dans son rapport, il a pu également faire mention de cette activité. J'ai pris part, Monsieur le Président, à la mission de plaidoyer en République centrafricaine pour l'adoption d'une loi sur la protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Ça, c'était du 10 au 12 septembre 2019. C'était à Bangui, en République centrafricaine. Après l'Afrique de l'Ouest, Monsieur le Président, il s'est avéré utile de commencer à mobiliser les autres régions d'Afrique pour qu'elles puissent également adopter une loi qui protège. Vous n'avez pas la traduction? Ok. Donc, non, parce que j'ai vu le représentant de l'Égypte lever la main. Alors, je disais qu'après avoir vu que 3 pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest ont déjà voté des lois sur la protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme, il s'est avéré utile de commencer à mobiliser les autres régions d'Afrique afin qu'elles puissent également doter leur pays des lois sur la protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Et en Afrique centrale, nous sommes à l'étape après la République démocratique du Congo, nous sommes à l'étape de la République centrafricaine. Cette mission a été utile parce qu'après avoir échangé avec les autorités du Parlement, quelques députés ont accepté d'endosser le projet de loi, de devoir le présenter au cours de cette session. Et nous espérons que si cette loi est votée, selon la procédure interne de ce pays, elle sera transférée au niveau du gouvernement. Là également, nous avons pu prendre langue avec le ministre de la Justice et des Droits de l'Homme, le ministre Mbata, qui a accepté qu'une fois que cette loi arrivera au niveau de l'exécutif, selon les procédures de ce pays, il pourrait faire en sorte que ça puisse passer facilement et que nous puissions avoir une loi en République centrafricaine. Donc nous attendons encore les résultats. Nous avons pris part au séminaire sur l'adoption du règlement d'ordre intérieur. Séminaire sur l'adoption du règlement d'ordre intérieur des défenseurs des droits de l'homme en Côte d'Ivoire. Ça, c'était du 25 au 26 septembre 2019. Après l'adoption de la loi sur la protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme et du décret qui a été pris par le chef de l'État, l'institution qui devait créer le mécanisme de protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme n'a pas été mise en place. Lorsque nous sommes arrivés en Côte d'Ivoire, les partenaires et l'institution, la Commission ivoirienne des droits de l'homme, pensaient qu'ils pouvaient rédiger un règlement d'ordre intérieur qui créerait finalement cette institution et qu'ils proposeraient cela au gouvernement. Mais nous leur avons fait savoir que ce n'était pas la bonne voie. Un règlement intérieur ne peut pas créer un organe et qu'il fallait, comme ce décret était, il est indiqué dans ce décret que c'était les ministres de la Justice, des droits de l'homme, les ministres de l'Intérieur qui devaient s'occuper de la mise en œuvre de ces décrets. Il fallait plutôt proposer un arrêté interministériel pour pouvoir arriver à créer cet organe, ce qui a été accepté Nous avons travaillé avec la société civile. Un projet d'arrêté interministériel a été rédigé et proposé sous notre direction et nous avons été faire le rapport au ministre ivoirien, au secrétaire, la secrétaire d'État aux droits de l'homme, afin qu'elle puisse aller présenter ça à ses collègues au niveau du gouvernement. Là aussi, c'était une excellente mission. Nous attendons dans les jours à venir que cette structure puisse être créée pour que les défenseurs des droits de l'homme puissent enfin trouver une structure de référence qui pourrait protéger leurs droits. Nous avons pris part au premier atelier de formation en faveur des défenseurs des droits de l'homme lusophones. Premier atelier de formation en faveur des défenseurs des droits de l'homme lusophones sur les systèmes et mécanismes africains des droits de l'homme, avec un accent particulier sur la liberté d'association et de réunion en Afrique. C'était du 2 au 5 octobre 2019 à Maputo, au Mozambique. Comme vous le savez, la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples n'avait pas encore réussi à organiser des activités dans les pays africains d'expression lusophone. Il était tout à fait important que la Commission puisse se déployer dans cette zone et commence à marquer sa présence. Ce qui a été fait, nous avons réuni beaucoup de défenseurs des droits de l'homme dans un pays et avec eux, nous avons travaillé, ils ont été sensibilisés, mobilisés pour les travaux de cette commission et certains d'entre eux, en guise de résultats, sont venus participer au forum des ONG cette fois-ci et ils étaient même ici avec nous dans la salle. Nous devons y aller avec la collègue d'expression lusophone Manuela. Malheureusement, au cours de la même période, elle avait une autre mission de promotion dans un autre pays lusophone, une autre mission de promotion des droits de l'homme qu'elle devait conduire. Nous avons également pris part au forum sur la participation des ONG à la 65e session de la Commission. Les rapports pour ce forum nous ont déjà été présentés ici. Permettez-moi, compte tenu du manque de temps, Monsieur le Président, de passer aux activités de protection. Pour les activités de protection des droits de l'homme, j'ai terminé avec les protections. Je voudrais vous entretenir premièrement pour les questions liées aux appels urgents. Au cours de la période en examen, le mécanisme a reçu un certain nombre de plaintes portant sur les allégations de violations des droits de l'homme auxquelles il a donné suite, selon les besoins spécifiques de chaque cas. À cet effet, les pays suivants ont été saisis par le biais d'appels urgents. Il s'agit de l'Algérie, 1 cas, l'Égypte, 2 cas, le Cameroun, 1 cas, le Gabon, 1 cas, la Guinée équatoriale, 1 cas, le Soudan du Sud, 1 cas. D'autres cas sont encore en cours de traitement. Les allégations portaient principalement sur des cas de harcèlement judiciaire, les arrestations et détentions arbitraires, les atteintes à la liberté de réunion, des assassinats, des intimidations et ou des menaces de mort, l'interdiction des activités des ONG et des organisations de la société civile, les allégations de torture, des disparitions forcées, des traitements inhumains et dégradants, des violations de la liberté d'association, de réunion, des restrictions de mouvement et de la liberté d'information et d'expression, d'actes de répression et d'attaques physiques. Les plaintes et appels d'urgence ont concerné 2 femmes, 5 hommes et des groupes d'individus. S'agissant des communiqués de presse, nous avons publié un communiqué de presse conjoint avec la commissaire Manuela en sa qualité de rapporteur spécial sur les prisons, conditions de détention et l'action policière sur la libération des prisonniers politiques au Cameroun le 11 octobre 2019. Nous avons également été associés au communiqué de presse publié par le commissaire Derso en sa qualité de rapporteur pays suite aux attaques xénophobes en Afrique du Sud. Les lettres de félicitations, nous avons adressé une lettre de félicitations au président de la République du Burundi pour la libération des défenseurs des droits de l'homme de l'ONG Parsem, pour lesquels nous avions saisi les autorités gouvernementales des divers appels urgents. Réponse des États. Au cours de la période en examen, le mécanisme a reçu des réponses de la part des États concernant des appels urgents envoyés. Il s'agit de l'Algérie, de la Guinée équatoriale et de l'Égypte. Nous remercions les États qui ont pris la peine de répondre à nos sollicitations en apportant divers éclaircissements sur les mesures prises pour remédier aux situations dont ils étaient saisis. Je voudrais maintenant passer à l'analyse, aux conclusions et recommandations. Analyse d'abord. les défenseurs des droits de l'homme continuent de voir leurs activités menacées par la restriction progressive de l'espace civique. La collaboration devant exister entre les acteurs de la société civile et les autres acteurs, notamment les gouvernants, tourne parfois à l'épreuve de force. Néanmoins, certains pays tirent leur épingle du jeu par leur ouverture à la collaboration franche qu'ils entretiennent avec les acteurs de la société civile. C'est le cas notamment de la Côte d'Ivoire, où nous avons pu constater la volonté des autorités à garantir une meilleure collaboration avec la société civile et la recherche des solutions idoines en vue d'y parvenir. Notre visite en Centrafrique aussi nous encourage à croire que des améliorations sont possibles. La liberté de manifester pacifiquement continue toujours à faire l'objet de limitations de plus en plus sévères dans presque tous les pays. Conclusion. Le nombre de plaintes reçues par le mécanisme demeure stable. Cependant, certains pays, plus que d'autres, font l'objet de plaintes régulières dont nous nous efforçons de vérifier la véracité avant de contacter les États concernés. À cet effet, nous voulons souligner que le suivi de nos appels urgents, tant sur la réception effective par les États ou la mise en œuvre de nos recommandations, demeure toujours un défi majeur. Permettez-moi, Monsieur le Président, de passer aux recommandations. Les recommandations, nous les formulons vis-à-vis des États partis et d'autres parties prenantes. Pour les États, nous encourageons, nous recommandons d'adopter des lois sur la protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme et de leurs activités, à l'instar de ce qui a été fait en Côte d'Ivoire, au Burkina Faso et au Mali. Quant à l'Union africaine et aux autres organismes régionaux et sous-régionaux, nous recommandons qu'ils puissent reconnaître le rôle essentiel des défenseurs des droits de l'homme, non seulement dans le développement des pays, mais aussi de la mise en œuvre effective des principes démocratiques, de l'état de droit, de bonne gouvernance et de développement durable en Afrique. Nous recommandons également d'encourager les États membres et les organes de l'Union africaine à mener des campagnes de sensibilisation sur le rôle fondamental, j'insiste bien sur le rôle fondamental joué par les défenseurs des droits de l'homme, qui ne sont pas les ennemis des États, mais qui sont des acteurs de développement. Aux institutions nationales des droits de l'homme, nous recommandons qu'elles puissent exercer pleinement leur mandat de promotion et de protection afin de tenir les États responsables des violations commises contre les défenseurs des droits de l'homme et intervenir à l'appui des défenseurs qui pourraient être victimes de violations des droits de l'homme. Aux organisations de la société civile, nous recommandons qu'elles puissent continuer à collaborer avec les mécanismes nationaux, régionaux et onusiens pour la promotion des droits de l'homme afin de prévenir et répondre aux violations des droits de l'homme commises contre les défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Aux médias, nous recommandons qu'elles puissent s'engager dans le dialogue avec tous les défenseurs des droits de l'homme et soutenir leurs efforts pour faire progresser les droits de l'homme, l'état de droit, le changement social et le développement. Aux leaders religieux et traditionnels, nous recommandons qu'ils puissent œuvrer à l'élimination des obstacles contre le travail des défenseurs des droits de l'homme et des organisations de la société civile, en particulier l'accès aux communautés. Aux partenaires techniques et financiers, enfin, tout en les remerciant de leur constant soutien, je les encourage à poursuivre celui-ci au mécanisme, vis-à-vis du mécanisme, au profit du mécanisme dans ses actions en vue d'une meilleure promotion et protection des droits des défenseurs des droits de l'homme en Afrique. Monsieur le Président, voici résumé rapidement le contenu de mon rapport intercession pour lequel je vous prie, n'est-ce pas, de prendre acte. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Vice Chairman Remy. Is there any member of the Commission that may wish to? Any member state? Okay, I recognize Gabon.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Permettez-moi de remercier le commissaire Lumbu pour son exposé très clair. Le Gabon a été interpellé sur deux situations. D'abord, en ce qui concerne la demande exprimée par la Commission, ce qui concerne la mission qui doit être menée au Gabon, nous voulons vous rassurer que cette demande a été bel et bien reçue et que notre pays s'apprête à répondre à cette demande à la lumière des bonnes relations que nous entretenons avec la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples. Je voudrais tout simplement rappeler que cette mission avait été proposée pour le premier trimestre de l'année 2020. L'année 2020. Et que nous avons tenu compte des dates, de cette date qui est encore légèrement éloignée, et qu'une réponse claire sera donnée à la lumière justement des bonnes relations que nous entretenons. Je voudrais également souligner sur cette question, Monsieur le Président, que lors de notre rencontre à Sharm el-Sheikh, nous avons posé un problème, c'est celui des canaux de communication. Parce que la première demande qui avait été exprimée, le Gabon ne l'avait pas reçue de manière officielle. Et nous avons alors plaidé pour des meilleurs canaux de communication entre le secrétariat et le ministère des Affaires étrangères. Mais depuis là, nous recevons très bien toutes les correspondances qui nous viennent de la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et c'est quelque chose que nous devons encourager et féliciter. Bon, l'autre cas, c'était sur la situation des défenseurs des droits de l'homme où vous avez, à juste titre, souligné qu'il y a un cas qui a été adressé à notre pays. Et je voudrais aussi relever d'entrée de jeu que cette demande avait été adressée directement au président de la République, chef de l'État. Et le ministère des Affaires étrangères que nous représentons avait bel et bien transmis cette notification. Et là encore, je peux vous rassurer que d'ici quelques temps, vous recevrez une réponse appropriée de la part du gouvernement gabonais sur cette question très simple, que nous pensons très simple et que nous pouvons régler très rapidement. Donc c'est juste ces assurances que je voudrais donner à la Commission africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples, particulièrement à notre interlocuteur qui vient de faire l'exposé. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Gabon. Any other state party? NHRI? Okay, I have 4 organizations. MBDHP. MBDHP. Are you present?
Obrigado, Excelência Presidente da Comissão, ilustres senhoras e senhores comissários, caros participantes. O direito de manifestação na Guiné-Bissau continua a ser ainda limitado. Este sábado, 27 de outubro, alguns partidos políticos da oposição realizaram uma manifestação em contestação às irregularidades do processo eleitoral e foram brutalmente reprimidos pelas forças policiais, resultando na morte de um manifestante de nome Demba Baldé e vários feridos que se encontram atualmente no Hospital Nacional Simão Mendes e Hospital Militar. Apesar das evidências de inconstitucionalidade da Lei 2/92 sobre as manifestações e campanha levada a cabo pelas organizações de sociedade civil para a aprovação de uma nova lei de manifestação, o Tribunal Constitucional ainda não se pronuncia sobre o assunto, o que faz com que a mesma continue a ser aplicada para a repressão de manifestações, um direito constitucionalmente garantido no artigo 54, número 2 da nossa Constituição. Excelências.
If you please hold on.
Esse não é um caso isolado.
Hello.
Esse não é um caso isolado. No passado mês de julho, os protestos do movimento estudantil, a Carta 21, que exigia a reabertura das escolas públicas, foi igualmente reprimido pelas forças de segurança do Estado. Os manifestantes foram violentamente espancados e dispersados com gás lacrimogéneo. Excelência Presidente, estamos a caminhar para a realização das eleições presidenciais marcadas para o 24 de novembro e as pessoas descontentes recorrerão ao direito à manifestação. Receamos o agravamento das repressões pelas forças de segurança do Estado e a ocorrência de mais mortes. Face ao exposto e às outras situações de violação dos direitos humanos que ocorrem atualmente na Guiné-Bissau, solicitamos a esta comissão que inste o Parlamento guineense a aprovar uma lei que garante o direito à manifestação, que inste o Governo a reforçar o treinamento dos efetivos de segurança do Estado em matéria dos direitos humanos, que inste o Governo da Guiné-Bissau a garantir a efetiva participação dos partidos políticos nos processos pré-eleitorais, nomeadamente a sincronização dos dados no caderno eleitoral. Muito obrigado e que Deus abençoe a Guiné-Bissau.
Thank you very much for drawing the attention of the Commission on the situation in Guinea-Bissau in the context of the upcoming election. International Service for Human Rights. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Honorable commissaire, État parti, chers délégués. Au cours des dernières années, les menaces, intimidations et représailles à l'encontre des défenseurs des droits humains et des activistes qui s'engagent au niveau régional et international suscitent une inquiétude croissante. Il serait extrêmement préjudiciable au fonctionnement efficace des systèmes régionaux de défense des droits humains si, en raison des risques encourus, les défenseurs évitaient d'interagir avec eux. Les défenseurs rapportent des informations et des points de vue cruciaux sur la situation des droits humains sur le terrain et les mécanismes régionaux dépendent de cet apport et partage d'informations pour prendre des décisions éclairées. Cependant, il existe malheureusement des cas où les institutions de l'État sont tout simplement incapables de garantir la possibilité pour tous les défenseurs de coopérer en toute sécurité avec les organes et mécanismes régionaux de défense des droits humains. Dans ces situations, les défenseurs qui osent s'exprimer doivent faire face à des risques accrus. Nous félicitons donc le rapporteur spécial sur les défenseurs des droits humains et point focal sur les représailles pour la publication cette semaine de sa nouvelle note de politique et d'information sur les représailles en Afrique. Nous espérons que la publication de ce document marquera un tournant dans les efforts de la Commission pour prévenir et combattre l'intimidation et les représailles liées au dialogue avec le système africain des droits humains. Monsieur le Président, comme vous le savez sans doute, le droit international prévoit le droit d'accéder sans entrave aux organes internationaux et régionaux des droits humains et de communiquer avec ces derniers. La jouissance de ce droit implique que ceux qui accèdent, tentent d'accéder à ces organes ou de communiquer avec eux, ne doivent faire l'objet d'aucune forme d'intimidation ou de représailles. Cela implique également que les États membres travaillant au sein d'institutions multilatérales soient légalement tenus de garantir la participation pleine et effective de la société civile. À cet égard, nous appelons les États à s'abstenir d'intimidation et de représailles à l'encontre de ceux qui coopèrent ou cherchent à coopérer avec les organes et mécanismes internationaux ou régionaux de défense des droits de l'homme. Nous appelons également les États à coopérer pleinement, rapidement et concrètement avec le point focal en matière de représailles, notamment en prenant des engagements de bonne foi pour prévenir et enquêter sur les cas rapportés et reportés, sur les mesures prises en matière de protection, de poursuite et de réparation. Nous avons pris note de l'appel à contribution pour un premier rapport sur les représailles et encourageons toutes les parties prenantes à participer à ce processus. Je vous remercie.
We have defenders.
Thank you so much, the Chairperson, Honorable Chairperson, distinguished commissioners, state delegates, and esteemed comrades from the civil society. Defenders and African defenders, welcome the opportunity to address you, Mr. Chairperson, and draw attention to your office on the plight of human rights defenders on the continent, with a special focus on defenders in Cameroon, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. Human rights defenders play a crucial role towards building just and inclusive society and should be respected rather than harassed. Mr. Chairperson, in Zimbabwe since January 2019, protests, the rights of freedom of expression, association and assembly is increasingly under attack. Police have violently repressed peaceful protests with the use of live ammunition and arbitrary arrests to anybody suspected to be organizers of defenders. This has forced most of the defenders to leave Zimbabwe, seeking for refuge in other countries. In Cameroon, as the crisis in Cameroon's Anglophone and Northern region remain unresolved, a growing number of Cameroonian human rights defenders are operating in a context of armed conflict and becoming internally displaced. Hence, most of the activists are also flocking, going outside the country for their survival. In Malawi, threats, harassment, and intimidation and attacks against human rights defenders at the hand of authorities and cadres of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party are on a rise. Members of the Human Rights Defenders Coalition in Malawi have been facing a lot of challenges. Recently, Mr. Bile Mayaya survived a serious attack by members of the ruling party, where he was stoned almost to death. We thank God he survived. Activists like Mr. Trapens, Sembeleka, and others, they have also faced a lot of challenges. Mr. Chairperson, I thank the grace of God that I here stand before you and present. I recently survived an assassination attack, where 6 bullets were triggered on my car as I was going home. I would like to conclude by saying this, Mr. Chairperson. We are citizens before we become human rights defenders, and we are partners in development with our states. As a result, we urge the African Union member states to adopt specific legislative measures to recognize the status of human rights defenders, accord them the necessary protection, and provide the conducive working environment to human rights defenders as per the Resolution 376 that was adopted in Niger. The second recommendation, Mr. Chairperson, is that states should ensure that they should cease the harassment of human rights defenders and adhere to their commitments to protect, respect, and fulfill the fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed in the African Charter.
Your time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you for that statement. And we are happy that you are here with us despite the attempt that has been made on your life. And we have listened to the details that you have provided. I'm sure Vice Chair Lumbu will also respond to those that you have highlighted. Thank you very much for that again. Them rights. Them rights. Okay. We don't have them rights present among us. Commissioner Remy.
Monsieur le Président, je voudrais vous remercier. Le but, lorsque nous présentons ces rapports, c'est de devoir interagir avec les participants, les États, les INDH et les ONG. Pour ce rapport, j'ai un État et j'ai 3 ONG. Je vais rapidement, dans moins de 2-3 minutes, rencontrer leurs préoccupations. Pour le Gabon, il me suffit de prendre acte des développements positifs que vous avez exposés tout à l'heure, aussi bien en ce qui concerne la demande de mission de promotion. Je sais que nous en avions discuté à Sharm el-Sheikh. Nous faisons un pas vers la bonne direction. Nous espérons que dans les jours à venir, vous pouvez avoir des réponses à devoir nous communiquer au niveau lentement. C'est vrai ce que vous dites. Nous projetons cette mission pour le premier trimestre, sinon semestre 2020, selon les dispositions du gouvernement gabonais. Nous attendons des informations par rapport à la lettre d'appel urgent que nous vous avions lancée et nous ne vous pressons pas. On attend jusqu'à ce que vous allez nous apporter ces éléments-là. Merci beaucoup pour votre collaboration et nous continuons à suivre. Monsieur Russell, si j'ai bien prononcé votre nom. Merci beaucoup. En ce qui concerne les ONG, grosso modo, Monsieur le Président, l'ensemble des ONG, le MBDHP, le Service international des droits de l'homme et Defenders ont un langage commun. Respect des défenseurs des droits de l'homme, protection des défenseurs des droits de l'homme par une loi. Je voudrais particulièrement pour MBDHP lui dire que je connais parfaitement la situation en Guinée-Bissau et la loi 2/92, parce que lorsque nous avions effectué cette mission de promotion en droits de l'homme, nous avons interagi avec les autorités par rapport à cette loi. Et l'exemple de la Guinée, c'est celle que je donne aux autres États. Pour manifester en Guinée, la loi demande à ce que soit vous le faisiez tard dans la nuit, après les heures de service, soit vous le faites en week-end, c'est-à-dire le samedi ou bien les jours fériés. Bien évidemment, la société civile n'accepte pas ça parce qu'elle cherche à manifester en journée pendant que les bureaux sont encore ouverts pour pouvoir interagir avec les officiels. Mais nous espérons que s'il y a des ouvertures et que si la loi parvient à être rédigée, la société civile et le gouvernement arriveront à un juste milieu pour savoir comment il faut régler tout ça. Je remercie le Service international des droits de l'homme pour les félicitations qu'il nous accorde par rapport à la note de politique sur les questions de représailles que nous avons publiée la semaine passée et qui est disponible sur le site de la Commission dans le but de permettre finalement à ce mécanisme pour la première fois de faire rapport à l'Afrique par rapport aux situations de représailles. C'est très important, c'est un appel que je lance à toutes les organisations de la société civile de devoir nous faire arriver les cas de représailles qui sont les leurs. Je signale d'ailleurs que je viens d'ailleurs d'être saisi d'un cas de représailles d'une dame qui était au forum des ONG de la Mauritanie et au retour dans son pays, apparemment, pour le fait de s'être engagée avec les mécanismes régionaux, notre mécanisme ici, la Commission africaine. Elle vient d'avoir des problèmes. Je suis encore en train d'analyser son cas. Donc, nous voulons que ces informations nous parviennent. Monsieur le Président, je termine par Defenders, qui invoque la crise anglophone au Cameroun, situation des défenseurs des droits de l'homme au Cameroun, au Zimbabwe, au Malawi. J'ai eu à prendre langue avec les autorités du Cameroun, de manière générale sur la situation des défenseurs des droits de l'homme, avec les autorités du Zimbabwe. Vous avez suivi vous-même la réponse qui m'a été accordée il n'y a pas longtemps. Pour le Malawi, pas encore. Mais globalement, votre recommandation, moi je l'accepte, c'est l'adoption de lois. Il faut voter des lois parce que les défenseurs des droits de l'homme sont avant tout des citoyens, avant d'être des défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Et à ce titre, on ne peut pas, n'est-ce pas, les considérer comme des ennemis du gouvernement parce qu'ils sont et demeurent des agents de développement qui interpellent souvent le gouvernement lorsque ces derniers n'appliquent pas de manière satisfaisante leurs engagements au titre de la Charte africaine des droits de l'homme et des peuples. Voilà, Monsieur le Président, très rapidement, les petites réponses que je pouvais apporter à nos amis de la société civile. Mais sinon, pour le reste, on pourrait continuer à parler. Mais je demanderai à monsieur de Defenders de devoir me contacter pour son cas où il a été victime de balles qui auraient pu emporter sa vie. Je n'avais pas cette information. Et s'il peut nous donner les informations pour qu'on voie comment on peut clarifier la situation. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair, for your report and the interaction. I now proceed to present my intersession activity report. There were two statutory meetings that I have participated in, on which colleagues have presented detailed information, so I wouldn't repeat that. The first one is the extraordinary session of the Commission held in Banjul in July. The second one is annual meeting of the African Commission and the African Court on Human and People's Rights. In terms of my responsibility as chairperson of the working group on extractive industries, environment and human rights, one of the activities that we have undertaken relate to initiatives for the dissemination of the guidelines and principles on state reporting on extractive industries, human rights and the environment, and the sensitization that we have initiated around the guidelines. In this respect, from 29 to 30 August 2019, as part of this sensitization and promotion work on the guidelines and principles, in collaboration with Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, we convened a sensitization workshop for the SADC region on guidelines and principles on state reporting on extractive industries, human rights and environment. This workshop afforded us an opportunity to bring together various stakeholders, including member states, civil society organizations, during the workshop held in Johannesburg, to discuss in depth the contribution of the guidelines and principles on state reporting, but also how the state reporting guidelines can be utilized both by states but also by civil society organizations and national human rights institutions that would engage in the preparation of state reports. We also had an opportunity to discuss an advisory note that the working group elaborated in relation to the UN, the draft UN binding treaty negotiation process that is underway in Geneva. Following this, we have obviously shared the advisory note providing the opinion of the working group on the issues that need to be addressed on the basis of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, when states parties to the African Charter engage in the negotiation process on the UN Treaty on Business and Human Rights. And this was shared with the AU office in Geneva, addressed also to the Africa Group in Geneva. Following the cyclones Idia and Kenneth, which ravaged the East Africa coast of Africa within just more than a month of each other, together with members of the Commission, we adopted a resolution, Resolution 417, on human rights impacts of extreme weather condition, which, among others, calls for the AU to bring the issue of climate crisis up in its policy discussion agenda, including by having it as a thematic subject for one of its coming years. On 29 July 2019, together with the country rapporteur for the Democratic Republic of Congo, I issued a press statement on the days of 43 artisanal miners in a mine collapse in the Democratic Republic of Congo. During this intercession period, we also finalized the first draft of the background study on extractive industries, the environment and human rights in Africa, which was mandated by the Commission under Resolution 148, and in order to mobilize and get inputs from member states and other stakeholders present during the course of this session, we convened a panel discussion for that input, and we have also published it on the website of the Commission to get further input on that draft study. Progress have also been made during the course of this intercession period on the finalization of the study on illicit financial flows, which the Working Group on Extractive Industries undertakes together with the Working Group on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. Next step would be finalizing the revision and updating of the study before presentation to the Commission for its consideration. In my capacity as the chairperson of the Advisory Committee on Budgetary and Staff Matters, I convened a meeting of the committee here in Banjul during the 26th extraordinary session. The committee discussed the status of implementation of the 2019 budget, the 2020 approved budget, audit matters, and also the new proposed emoluments for elected officials, along with a number of administrative issues. And the committee submitted its report to the plenary of the extraordinary session here in Banjul, and direction have been given on follow-up action. With respect to my responsibility as the focal person of the Commission on Transitional Justice and also on human rights in conflict situations, I would like to indicate that in the intercession period, I convened a meeting of the advisory panel on transitional justice that was convened at the time of the adoption of the resolution on this study in 2013, I suppose. And the idea was to adopt a roadmap and also discuss on strategies for dissemination and follow-up on the study of the Commission on Transitional Justice on Human and People's Rights, and also its concurrent implementation along with the African Union Transitional Justice policy as well, that was adopted earlier this year by the AU Assembly. I also attended the Continental Transitional Justice Forum organized by the African Union Commission and the Center for the Study of Violence and Reconciliation, during which I presented an address to the participants of the forum in respect to both the Commission's Transitional Justice study, but also that of the African Union Transitional Justice Policy. On 18 October, as part of the joint meeting of the Commission and the African Court, I also presented the Commission's Transitional Justice study to the participating commissioners and judges, drawing attention particularly to the members of the court, to the relevant parts of the transitional justice study that may be of interest to the work and mandate of the African Court on Human and People's Rights as part of the promotion work of the Commission and its study. With respect to the Commission's study on human rights in conflict situations in Africa, I am pleased to say that apart from the resolution that we have adopted in relation to human rights and humanitarian violations resulting from air strikes and drone attacks, on 8 August 2019, I represented the Commission in a meeting of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union, during which the first consultative meeting of the Commission and the Peace and Security Council of the African Union took place. I have addressed the Peace and Security Council, presenting detailed presentation on human rights in conflict or crisis situations and the modalities of close working relationship between the African Commission on Human and People's Rights and the PSC within the framework of Article 19 of the PSC Protocol. The proposals I presented for operationalizing the close working relationship based on the Commission's study on human rights in conflict situations under Resolution 332 was adopted as a decision of the PSC as contained in the communique of the 866 session of the PSC. That was also an occasion for raising awareness to members of the PSC on the relevance of the work of the Commission to the work of the Peace and Security Council, and also raising awareness about the working methods of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. And the Commission, our Commission, has been commended for the work that it has been doing so far, and members of the PSC recommended that there has to be continuous engagement in order to enhance this understanding. The study on human rights in conflict situations, having been adopted earlier, have been launched in the course of this session of the Commission. On this occasion, I would like to thank members of the Commission and all of those who were present during the launch of the study. The activities that I have undertaken as country rapporteur, one relates to the urgent letter of appeal that I have sent together with Commissioner Maya to the President of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, in response to the violent attacks on foreigners, particularly people from other African countries, and also the press statement, the joint press statement that we have issued together with my colleagues, as have been presented earlier by my colleagues previously, and also the joint press release that we have adopted together with the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women in Africa and the Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Access to Information in Africa in respect to a positive development in Kenya is another one. Also, together with the Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression and Access to Information, I sent a joint letter of appeal to the President of Tanzania in respect to the arrest of Tanzanian journalist Eric Kabendera. In respect of many of these, particularly the letters of appeal, we have yet to receive response from states parties. I would like basically to call upon states and state actors alike to deal with the extraction of natural resources in a responsible and equitable manner within the framework of the principles and guidelines we have outlined in the state reporting guidelines that I have made reference to. And in this, on this occasion, I would like to call on states parties in particular to make use of the state reporting guidelines in the course of the preparation of their reports that are upcoming for the next session. My report also covers a thematic focus, particularly drawing attention to an important aspect of the work of the Working Group on Extractive Industries, and this relates to the relationship between natural resource governance and conflict in Africa. And in this part of my report, in the interest of time, I wouldn't go into the details, since I will be standing between the conclusion of the public session and all of you getting a bit of rest for the evening. I will simply highlight some points. First, natural resources particularly in the African context, as you all are aware, are characterized by the phenomena, a human phenomena, called the natural resource curse. This is a phenomena that relates to the fact that countries that are endowed with natural resources find themselves in a vicious cycle of bad governance, political instability, and in many instances, violent armed conflict as well. There are ample experiences from across the continent highlighting the plight of many parts of the continent and peoples in those parts of the continent, resulting from violence and contestation over the use and extraction of those natural resources, from Nigeria to the DRC, to South Africa, and many other places. So we thought that it's extremely important to draw attention to this dimension, and in this respect the report highlighted 3 dimensions of the natural resource conflict dynamic. The first one is natural resources are the cause of conflict. Obviously, this is the case where natural resources lead to the eruption of violent conflict. And examples of this have been highlighted in the report on page 9 to page 11. And a number of examples in that respect, including the recognition of this challenge by the Peace and Security Council of the African Union. And hence, through this report, drawing a relationship between the work that we do, but also the work that is being done at the policy level in Addis Ababa. And in this respect, of course, I would like to highlight 2 important cases that this Commission decided. One relates to the Ogoni people in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, a very landmark and famous case. Another one relates to the Kilwa case in the eastern DRC, which is also another famous case relating to the participation of extractive industries in not only environmental degradation and leading to huge disasters in the Niger Delta region, but also the support that extractive industries have provided for the perpetration of violations of human rights in the Kilwa region. The second is the role of resources in sustaining or perpetuating violent conflict. And in this respect, we also give examples and also highlight issues that arise in this context. And the last one is human rights violations in the extractive industry sector resulting from conflict itself. And of course, the idea of drawing attention to the relationship between natural resource governance and conflict is basically to ultimately ask the question, why? Why is it that Africa is known for this phenomena called resource curse? Why is it that these natural endowments not a blessing to the people of the continent? Obviously, this has a long history. So it is a result of the burden of history. It is a result of bad governance and also weak regulatory frameworks. It is a result of also the structure of the global economy that keeps Africa to be a supplier of raw material, and the price as well as the value addition is actually undertaken elsewhere, is set and undertaken elsewhere in the world. So the idea is how do the state reporting guidelines and the principles on Article 21 of the African Charter help us address these issues, and that is what we have presented in paragraphs 18 to paragraph 23, as well as drawing special attention to the conflict dimension of it in applying the human rights framework in paragraphs 24 through paragraph 32. In the light of the fact that countries such as Kenya, Uganda have also made discoveries of oil and are in the process of developing these resources, I would therefore like to call on representatives of the two states to ensure that they learn from the terrible experiences of other countries and ensure through effective institutions, regulatory frameworks, that these resources do not turn to become curse for the peoples in those parts of Kenya and Uganda where these resources are being developed and extracted. With that, I would like to stop here and express my appreciation to all of you for your patience to listen to my report. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je vais maintenant passer à la salle rapidement pour voir s'il y a des participants qui veulent intervenir. Je voudrais commencer par le commissaire. Y a-t-il un commissaire qui voudrait faire un commentaire sur le rapport du président du groupe de travail sur les industries extractives? À ma gauche, personne, et à ma droite, je ne vois personne. Je vais passer la parole aux distingués représentants des États. Y a-t-il une délégation étatique qui souhaite prendre la parole? Le Kenya? Ah, ok. Voilà, je vois le Kenya. Monsieur le représentant du Kenya, vous avez la parole.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for this opportunity. I'll try to be very quick, and let me start by commending the chairperson for his detailed report on various issues. And I'll address his reports based on the fact that he is also the special rapporteur on Kenya. I think the first issue relates to the promotional visit, which we want to confirm that, yes, the government of Kenya received that request, and it's quite a while. I think it was 2017. Let me reconfirm Kenya's willingness and acceptance for the Commission to conduct a proportional mission. But I must admit that there has been some communication breakdown between the Commission and the government side. I believe and I recall that we had some informal exchange of views with the chair, and Kenya is looking at an opportunity, perhaps if we can have that promotional visit be conducted maybe the later part of February or in March next year. So I'm requesting the Commission to make a follow-up by writing and suggesting definite date which the government authorities can be able to consider while we have adequate time. Secondly, Chair, we accept your advice which you have given us. Yes, we have discovered oil in our country, and we have started doing preliminary exports. We have been in the process of developing legal frameworks so that we don't fall into more problems than the benefits we are looking at. And I believe you should be readily available whenever we need any support or technical consultation in order to come up with an appropriate regulations and the legal framework. Chair, having said that, and well knowing that this is the last session for the public open public session, let me take the opportunity to thank you for the wonderful manner in which you have shared our sessions since Monday. We really appreciate, together with the Vice Chair, your team of the commissioners, we are very grateful. And let me also thank all the state delegates, all the human rights delegates who are here, for the constructive and active engagement which we have earned over the period in which we have been here. I take the opportunity to wish all of us, those who are traveling, journey mercies, and finally, Chair, I want just to remind all the distinguished delegates here, commissioners, that Commissioner Lawrence Mote is Kenya's candidate, the way I said, and I still appeal for your vote during the February AU summit, please. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à la délégation du Kenya. Je vois un autre recruteur. C'est quel pays? Le Soudan. Vous avez la parole. Vous avez la parole.
شكرا جزيلا للسيد الرئيس والسادة المفوضون وكل الإخوة أعضاء المؤتمر. حقيقة الأخ رئيس اللجنة قدم تقريرا وافيا حول موضوعات فعلا تعاني منها القارة، موضوعات الصناعات الاستخراجية. فنحن في السودان نعاني من ذلك في أكثر من منحى. المنحى الأول هو الصراع السياسي حول استخراج مثل هذه الموارد، وكذلك الصراع الخارجي على هذه الموارد، وأيضا الصراع الفني. والآن نحن في السودان بجانب استخراج البترول نعاني أيضا من مضاعفات استخراج المعادن الأخرى مثل الذهب وغيره. فحقيقة شعبنا يعاني كثيرا من إفرازات هذه الصناعة، ولا توجد أي تثقيفات أو معلومات عن التعامل مع مثل هذه الصناعة. ولذا نحن نطلب من اللجنة الموقرة برئاسة رئيسها أن يبعث لنا وفدا يقوم بتثقيف المواطن حول استخراج هذه الصناعات، وكذلك يبصر الحكومات من أضرار مثل هذه الصناعات. فحقيقة هنالك حقوق كثيرة تضيع على مثل هذه الصناعات، خاصة صناعات التعدين، إذ نجد كثير من المواطنين يعني يصنعون ويحفرون لأعماق وكثيرا ما تتهد في مثل هذه المجموعات هذه الأراضي. يعني they dig deeply and then it fall down there. فأي تبصير في هذا المنحى يعيننا كثيرا. فنحن في حاجة لزيارة فنية حتى أن نقدر نضمن حقوق المواطن في سلامته، وكذلك حقوق المواطن في الخدمات، لأن هنالك شركات كبيرة تقوم بمثل هذا العمل ولكنها لا تترك خدمات في المنطقة، بل العكس تتضرر البيئة اللي حولها ضررا بالغا. وشكرا جزيلا أيضا. ونحن في السودان نسجل صوت إشادتنا بالجلسة الممتازة التي قاد بها الأخ الرئيس الجديد هذه الدورة، وتوزيعه للفرص العادلة ومداخلات كذلك كل الأخوة المفوضين. وشكرا جزيلا. شكرا.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce qu'il y a encore un délégué d'État qui souhaite intervenir à ce stade? Je ne vois pas. Je voudrais passer aux INDH. Y a-t-il une INDH ici qui souhaite la parole? Il n'y en a pas. Maintenant, je voudrais appeler les ONG. Les ONG suivantes ont demandé la parole. Il y en a deux. La première, c'est Asociação Construindo Comunidades. Approchez-vous et prenez.
Excelência, Senhor Presidente da Comissão Africana dos Direitos Humanos dos Povos, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, todos os protocolos reservados. Senhor Presidente, é com agrado que as organizações da sociedade civil, em particular a Associação Construindo Comunidade, tomou conhecimento da apreensão de 400 metros cúbicos de madeiras mossíveis apreendidas pelas autoridades angolanas no passado dia 22. Não obstante esta realidade, senhor Presidente, queríamos partilhar a informação segundo a qual, em 2018, o Mosaico Instituto para a Cidadania levou a cabo uma pesquisa sobre a avaliação participativa do acesso à justiça na província do Mochico e do Uíge, onde a população são afetadas gravemente pela exploração de madeira. A madeira tem sido explorada na província do Mochico sem que se verifiquem melhorias ou avanços na situação social, econômica e infraestruturas. A exploração desenfreada da madeira faz com que as comunidades deixem de ter acesso a medicamentos tradicionais, logo piora a situação de saúde. No município, o sistema de saúde é precário. As populações deslocam-se à Zâmbia para assistência médica e medicamentosa. Há uma diminuição de ano para ano do caudal do rio Luena, segundo confirma Dom Tirso Blanco, de Luena. Há comunidades isoladas devido à degradação das vias de comunicação através do transporte de touros de madeira entre municípios do Alto Zambeze e outros municípios da província. As empresas de exploração de madeira chamam a responsabilidade social a entrega de uma viatura às autoridades tradicionais. Este tipo de apoio não tem efeitos reais na qualidade de vida da comunidade. Por exemplo, uma outra província do Uíge, onde também a atividade de exploração de madeira é substancial, um jovem do município do Quiteche chegou mesmo a considerar que as empresas de exploração de madeira onde trabalhava ajudavam muito, porque no caso de morte de um membro da comunidade, a empresa dava madeira para fazer caixões. E na altura o jovem trabalhava nesta empresa, cujo salário era equivalente a $53. Perante a realidade, acreditando na importância do papel da Comissão dos Direitos Humanos dos Povos, a Associação Construindo Comunidade, com base no estudo produzido pelo Mosaico, insta a Comissão a recomendar ao Estado angolano que observe o seguinte: que o governo observe os princípios e valores consagrados na visão mineira africana, que é parte desde 2009. E não esquecendo do Free, Pure and Informated Consent, que fiscalize eficazmente a exploração de madeira, fazendo respeitar a lei e desenvolva políticas que visem a sustentabilidade de todas as comunidades. E isto deve ser em todas as áreas onde ocorra a atividade de exploração de madeira. Por último, que salvaguarde os direitos e interesses das comunidades nos contratos de investimento privados na área de e que seja clara e pública a responsabilidade social das empresas que exploram a madeira. Assim, acreditando nessa importância, fica aqui a nossa recomendação, que nós acreditamos no papel desta comissão para fazer chegar ao Estado angolano. Muito obrigado pela vossa atenção.
Merci. Je voudrais maintenant inviter la dernière ONG, c'est Associação Justiça, Paz e Democracia. Merci.
Sua Excelência, Senhor Salomão Derso, Presidente da Comissão Africana dos Direitos Humanos e dos Povos, distintos comissários e comissárias, caros delegados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, todos os protocolos observados, a JPD e a CDA agradecem a oportunidade para expor a situação dos direitos humanos e dos povos, concretamente nas províncias da Lunda Norte e Lunda Sul, no leste de Angola. As constatações. A expropriação de terra para fins de exploração diamantífera sem justa indemnização e compensação às comunidades residentes em Cafula, Sapapa, Saissala, Samuseleca e Tengo Maludi, privando-as do acesso à água, à pesca, à caça e outros bens provenientes do campo, bem como a privação da prática de agricultura familiar, tem contribuído drasticamente para o aumento da pobreza, fome, desnutrição e outros males que afetam essas comunidades. Contrariamente ao que estabelece o artigo 21 da Carta Africana, as populações da Lunda Norte e Sul, no leste de Angola, não têm acesso direto aos benefícios dos recursos naturais e minerais ali explorados. Segundo, na província da Lunda Sul, o direito à saúde e assistência médica e medicamentosa não está efetivamente garantido. Terceiro, as comunidades do Kwango, Capenda Camulembe, X, Lucapa, Maludi, Cambulo e Lova, província da Lunda Norte, as populações são proibidas de exercer o direito de reunião e manifestação pacífica consagrada no artigo 47 da Constituição da República de Angola para discutir os assuntos relacionados à problemática do acesso e uso das suas terras comunitárias, pois são proibidas pelas autoridades policiais, militares e guardas das empresas minerais que reprimem essas intenções de reuniões e manifestações das populações, tendo-se registrado muito recentemente, no dia 29 de abril de 2019, a morte do Soba Muriato Moaiseca, de 57 anos, do bairro Capenda Camulembe, de cujo a memória nós aqui honramos, por tentar reunir a sua comunidade para falar sobre a descoberta do maior diamante até agora explorado na mina do Lulo. Senhor Presidente, em Angola continua havendo morte de cidadão angolano provocada pelas por guardas das empresas mineiras, polícia e militar, que alegam ter as ordens superiores de impedir qualquer acesso das populações às áreas limítrofes às minas, deixando assim as comunidades em condições de extrema precariedade. Recomendações. Que o Estado angolano responsabilize as empresas da exploração de diamante e outros recursos naturais pelos danos causados ao ambiente na poluição dos rios e na destruição das lavras e residências das comunidades. Segundo, instar ao Estado angolano para solicitar uma visita do grupo de trabalho para as indústrias extrativas, meio ambiente e as violações dos direitos humanos, para constatar no local o impacto negativo da indústria de exploração de diamante na Lunda Norte e Lunda Sul. Terceiro, que os contratos privados celebrados entre o Estado angolano e as empresas de exploração mineira contenha cláusulas expressas nas quais as empresas devem investir dos seus lucros em benefício das comunidades nas áreas de exploração com projetos sustentáveis. Muito obrigado.
Merci beaucoup pour les informations que vous nous donnez. Maintenant, je crois que je vous... Commissaire Derso, vous allez réagir par rapport aux interventions du Kenya, du Soudan et des deux ONG qui viennent de prendre la parole tout à l'heure de manière résumée, vu le temps. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président du groupe de travail.
I would like to thank Kenya for indicating and confirming and actually providing specific period during which this commission could undertake the mission to Kenya. That has been outstanding since we first requested this the authorization in 2017. We thank you for that. We will follow up with the requested later in the course of this session. I would like also to assure you that myself, as well as members of the working group, are on standby anytime you provide us any request on technical support, including in respect to engaging in the development of legislation to make sure that it's in line with the principles and guidelines that we have developed. We are ready. We are at your disposal. I also hear you loud and clear on you about Commissioner Mute and join you in urging others to heed your call as well. Sudan, in respect to the issues affecting Sudan in the extractive industry sector, including conflict, as you have highlighted, that arise in relation to the extraction of natural resources, and also the fallout that you have pointed out, and also the issue relating to small-scale mining and the collapse of mines that affected people. Again, I would like to draw your attention to the state reporting guidelines and the principles on Article 21 and 24 of the African Charter, which covers specifically the issues affecting small-scale miners. And in that respect, of course, it highlights the obligations, particularly that states bear, in order to ensure that the kinds of accidents that led to the loss of life and injury wouldn't happen by ensuring that they are certain minimum standards relating to safety measures, relating to environmental and health-related risks, as well as human rights standards, including, for example, the use of child labor, are made in that process. And we